welcome to Review to Debate the Facts. I am your host, Taylor James. I'm here with the state of Ray Bay and the newest member of the team, Mr. Kevin Devine. And for those of you that don't know, some of y'all might be wondering where the Battle Kitty is. I think I even got the fuckers Battle Kitty edition. Yeah, somewhere there. But anywho, all right. Unfortunately, the Battle Kitty had an incident with a fire poker, which makes him, he got a little too interested in the fire poker, and that unfortunately led to the disaster that's a fire poker. And you can see what a fire poker can do to a man, especially a Battle Kitty. Right? He might be wild and insane, and he might be light years ahead of every man on earth. But no, the Battle Kitty is not better than the fire poker. Unfortunately, the Battle Kitty is stuck with administrative duties. So get well soon, Battle Kitty. And what do we got going on tonight, guys?
Boom. Quite possibly the greatest debate of our time. The great Aron Ra, the great TJump versus two Christians, a father and son, the Knunckles.
The Knunckles? Yeah.
The Knunckles. Yes, the two. Oh man.
So they're debating whose Christianity is truest?
Yeah. Is Christianity true?
The truest of Christianity against the raw man?
Oh man.
When motherfuckers go up against the great one, I just gotta say, you are in for the time of your fucking life. You are going to lose. You might as well just bow the fuck out. I've said this before. I don't think I could ever win a debate against Aron Ra. These guys possibly. No, I wouldn't win one against TJump. I've seen some debates with him in it. Huge fan of these two guys. Yeah, I sound like I'm sucking a lot of atheist dick right now, but no, it is what it is. Neither here nor there.
Cliff and Stewart, huh?
Cliff and Stewart.
Oh man, they look like they belong to a Mormon cult.
They look like the fucking. They look like the fucking Scrubs sitcom. What the fuck is that?
But the background actors.
Dr. Knunckles?
Right.
I was looking at the thumbnail for the John. I was like, why does the dad look like he looks like he stepped out of a 90s sitcom and shit? You know.
So hold on, like I don't know the backstory behind these guys. Do they actually do debates together? Is that their shtick?
Father son.
I think so. I think they do debates together. I think they're like. I think the father's like a pastor and the son's like a pastor in training. It's like a Padawan or some shit like that. But I got past all the juicy parts, the beginning and whatnot, the music and all that good jazz. And here, let's hop right on into the opening statements. This is where Mr. Coons here is giving you introduction.
So I'm going to introduce them and give them a chance to share what you can find at their link, which is in the description already, folks. So if you would like to hear more from our speakers, you can find those links down below. We'll start with Cliff and Stewart. Thanks, the father-son duo, the team. That is, this you could say, folks, this is an interesting kind of, you could say, rivalry where basically our guests Cliff and Stewart debated
father-son
TJump
duo.
and Aron.
Is that weird?
About a month ago, and that was an epic debate on whether or not there's an immaterial soul. And in that debate, the challenge came up to debate whether or not Christianity is true. And so they are back. We're thrilled to have you guys back. Thanks so much, Cliff and Stewart. If you'd like to share what people can find at your link in the description, thanks for being here, guys.
Appreciate you, James. We just outside New York City, our YouTube link is Ask Cliff or Give Me an Answer on YouTube. And there you'll just find a bunch of different debates. We have, I think, over 450 debates on college campuses. And we've also just started debates on YouTube channel with British intellectuals, many atheist agnostics. So that's what you'll find there.
Absolutely. We're thrilled to have you back. And with that, we'll kick it over to Tom, Jump, and Aron Ra. Thrilled to have you back as well, gentlemen. Tom, glad to see you again. It feels like it's been like 2 weeks. What can people expect to find at your link in the description?
I do debates and conversations with professors and philosophers and academics from around the world on reasons to believe in a God, flat Earth, pseudoscience, and all other kinds of topics. And find James OnlyFans on my Discord if you're interested.
You come to me with this
that's a
debate on
mod
my
pod.
daughter's wedding day. You
We
come
do
to me
debates
with
of
this.
flat Earth,
You do this for
suicide,
me,
you know.
I'll make you a made man. TJump acting like the fucking godmother.
Yes.
I'll do these debates on my daughter's wedding day. I'll debate you in your sleep, Paul.
Oh man. Do you know if he's a flat Earth believer? Do you know if he's into flat Earth? Is that his thing? Do you guys happen to know?
Nah.
Oh no.
Oh no, he's around. He's cool. Yeah.
He's an
Yeah.
He's just talking shit. All right, fair enough. All right, I get you.
No, he debates flat earthers and whatnot. He's on. And he wipes the floor with them.
Got you. Well, how can you not? I mean,
sent me a message that said these two Christians sleep with the fish.
I always tell my son. I'm telling honest God truth. I always tell my son, I'm like, you could be anything you want, even if you turn out to be gay. I will love you no matter what. The only thing you can't be is a flat earther.
Right.
I
just own my kids.
All right, let's see.
Like the respect. Fuck out the Fred. Yeah. Like the whip.
Hey, and we'll kick it over to Aron Ra. Thrilled to have you back again, Aron. The floor is all yours. If you'd like to share what people can find at your link.
Well, I do some science education and also secular activism, and these are trying times for secular activists, especially with the new Supreme Court justice who seemed completely unaware that there was a separation of church and state, and she still doesn't believe in it. So you can imagine how busy I am. You can reach me at patreon.com/ARONRA. I do this full time, and I need all the help I can get. So if you can donate, please do.
You got it. Thanks so much.
He needs
All
white
four of
face
you
paint
gentlemen.
with like black
Thrilled to have you
black
here.
streaks.
And
He
with
should
that,
be like
we will
a
kick it
fucking
into
death
the
metal
opening
band. Look at him.
So,
Right?
Tell me he shouldn't be like a
We're here
seated
for
black
12
metal band.
minutes. The floor is all yours.
James, thank you so much. Is Christianity true?
No.
I would never put my faith in Christianity. Christianity's been used to justify the Crusades, witch burning. Christianity has a horrible history in many ways. But Jesus Christ is totally different. Now, the question is, really, is Jesus Christ true? Is he reliable? Many people today say, no, truth does not exist. Objective truth does not exist. Well, that is a truth claim in itself. It's self-contradictory. If you're going to tell me that objective truth does not exist, I'm going to say to you, well, you just made a truth claim, a truth statement. Obviously, truth exists. By truth, we mean reality. We live in reality, or we choose to not live in reality. Now, there are different forms of knowledge that help us get in touch with reality. One is scientific knowledge, which is based on the repeatability of an experiment. It's based on study of process. So there's scientific knowledge. But there's also historical knowledge, which has nothing to do with the repeatability of an experiment. You don't get George Washington back to be inaugurated first president of the United States. Instead, you know that there is such a thing as reliable eyewitness testimony. And that is what historical knowledge is based on. You also have experiential knowledge. Your use of reason and logic. Experience can lead you to truth, to that which is real. So is Jesus Christ the truth? Well, first of all, the Gospels claim to be accurate historical presentations of this historical figure, Jesus of Nazareth. Now, whenever I'm confronted by a document that claims to be historical, I'm a skeptic. But I'm not a cynic, because if I don't learn lessons from history, I'm going to repeat the mistakes of history. If I don't learn lessons from hypocritical Christians, I'm going to repeat those hypocritical mistakes, probably. I don't want to do that. So, the question is,
bro.
What tests do you and I use to determine historicity? For myself, I use 4. Internal consistency, meaning by that, are there contradictions within the text that should point to massive confusion on the part of the authors? Secondly, literary genre, literary style. What is the style of the document? Is it fairy tale, mythology, once upon a time in the land of Nod, wink and blink and a nod took a boat ride? Or is it historical narrative, meaning by that, is it written as eyewitness reportage? At this time,
Gangnam Style,
place, with these people around, Jesus said this.
Comes at you with a planet of pineapple, huh?
Of the document. Third test is archaeology.
Does archaeology verify Bethlehem?
I love how Aaron could just like
Jerusalem, Rome, or are these fictitious
This is
places?
the exact like voice that he
And then
talks.
fourth test is, how many manuscripts do we have? What's the manuscript evidence?
Baby, we're going to bed. We're gonna
eyewitnesses or those
gonna sit down.
the eyewitnesses.
I'm
How
going
many
to go back to
manuscripts
that
do you
question.
have?
If someone does not accept the New Testament as historically reliable, I have no problem with that. But I want to know, what are your tests that you use to determine historical reliability? And if you're a total historical cynic, I don't know where the conversation can go. I think historical knowledge is a
Look
legitimate
at
form of
TJump.
knowledge.
Look at him.
And I think
Look
we
at this
have,
motherfucker
as
sitting there
thinking
like, you
people,
done it
have
right.
tests that we
You
use
done
to
it right. When
determine
you're done
the
speaking, I'm
historical
going to have it away
reliability
with
of
you.
any document, be it the New Testament, be it U.S. history, African history, Asian history, whatever you're talking about. Now, I don't ask people to accept the Gospels as the Word of God. I could never show that any book is the Word of God, so I wouldn't want to waste your time.
what?
But instead, I think the use of those four.
Hold on.
What did he just say?
What? Taylor, are the Gospels the Word of God?
Are the Gospels? Of course it is.
Yeah, he said. So he said he's not asking people to accept the Gospels as the Word of God.
But then what did Apostle Paul? What about the Apostle Paul?
Yeah, I
telling us
think
the
Dad
gospel
says
was
that. I
God?
love Tom's expressions, and it was funny that he said that because I was watching him the exact same time. I was watching those expressions. You gotta love it. He's trying really hard just to listen. Trying really hard just to keep it all in.
Aron Ra has been mentally biting his lip this whole entire time.
Well, Aron Ra knows
Even I.
he's going to make short work of these two gentlemen. Very
Well, the
quick.
problem is that just like a normal pastor, they say a lot of stuff, and it's just like a lot of stuff. There's not a lot of substance there, right? So it's dressed up, sounding important and intellectual, but it's like just get to the point, dude. We don't want to sit here listen to a fucking sermon. You know what I mean? Get to the point. You got to make it short and sweet and smart, and then just move along with it. When you try to dress it up too much, dude, you lose people. I think Tom, to be honest, was kind of lost there. I don't know if he was necessarily biting his tongue. I think he was just kind of like, oh my God, dude, let's do this. Hurry up.
I feel like the way he's coming across, Cliff is coming across, as if he's trying to appeal to atheists' ability to use logic and reasoning.
Well, it's a smart
more
move.
so.
It's a
than
smart
faith.
move, but the problem is that when you come across dressed up, when you dress up your argument like you're preaching to a congregation, you lose people because it's like, who are you, dude? Like, let's just talk like men, right? Just talk to me like who you are. You don't dress it up and do all this blah 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 blah. Just do your thing. Talk to us like human beings. What do you got to say? And then you're gonna have a lot more of an argument and a lot more respect for that person, what they're willing to say, because you're like, okay, this dude's a real dude, instead of like, this dude's like a fucking cartoon. You know what I mean? So it's hard to take anything that he says seriously. And I haven't even heard really anything he said.
When you hear Stewart speak.
4 tests: internal consistency, literary style, archaeological evidence, and manuscript evidence clearly points to the historical reliability of the New Testament. So simply read the New Testament as history and ask yourself, as you read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the 4 Gospels, does the historical evidence of the way Jesus lived, what he taught, how he died, and how he rose from the dead point to the veracity of Christ, or does it not? And you decide based on the historical evidence. For myself, when I read about how Jesus taught, I'm blown out of the water. Robert Coles, professor emeritus at Harvard University, points out all the teachings on ethics over the past 2,000 years are simply footnotes to the Sermon on the Mount. Ethical genius in Matthew chapters 5, 6, and 7, the Sermon on the Mount. The teachings of Christ have the ring of truth. Secondly, not only did Jesus teach these amazingly high ethical standards,
there are times where I
he
think
lived up
that
to them. In John
TJump
chapter
is
8,
thinking
he
about
looked in the
boobies.
faces of his enemies and say, which one of you will prove me guilty of sin?
What?
In 1 John chapter 3, verse 5.
Yes.
The Apostle John,
Every time his
Right there,
eyebrows
look.
just.
closest
Look.
friend, could write about
Yeah.
him In him is no sin. And when he was bleeding and dying on a cross, he prayed for his enemies. Father, forgive them, for they know not
What ass
what they
pussy?
do. That's the
What ass
essence
pussy?
of tolerance.
He's thinking about what ass
For a
pussy
follower
right
of
now.
Christ to be
I don't blame
intolerant
him.
is
This guy's
highly
not saying
hypocritical.
shit.
Because if you claim to be following Christ, the one who, as he's bleeding and dying on a cross, prays to forgive his enemies, and if you're intolerant, that's a contradiction. That's hypocrisy. So the lifestyle of Christ demands respect. And then thirdly, the way he died demands respect. At the moment of his most excruciating pain, the love that flowed from him for his mother, for his enemies, was amazing. He taught love your enemies, but then he lived it out at the moment of his most excruciating pain and agony.
Pause it.
And fourthly, and
Pause it. Look, I'm all on board. I like to say, even as an atheist, that I like to use Jesus as some sort of moral framework, right? I get it. If he was real and even beyond a character, I get it. I 100% get it. But see, this is where he loses me. He says that even as the blood drained from him, that he was loving for his mother and father. One of the last things that he said is, "My God, why have thou forsaken me?" Now, that's where I get lost, right? It's like, if you want to have
Where did he go?
and you really, really want people to pay attention, then you can't just make shit up in the end, right? Because he's talking about his final, as the blood flowed from him, he was, he was very thankful to remembrance of his mom and all this stuff. It's like, no, he was crying in fucking agony. Rightfully so. I probably would be too. I'm not talking shit, but I mean, that's where I get lost. So it's hard to take him seriously. You got to stay as historically accurate as possible. That's all I'll say about that.
Got anything you want to add to that, Taylor?
That's all I'll say about that.
Well, I was just checking the live comments here, which there are none. But yes, it's bloviating. If you don't practice tolerance, you contradict Jesus, right? I will not let a woman suffer to teach. That's contradicting, motherfucker!
Hypocrisy, right?
They're throwing the Bible out the fucking window to make these points, just like every other Christian apologist known to man. Well, let's continue. Let's see how much more we have in the story.
All right.
This dude's
So I'll see here.
fucking time, dude. Jesus Christ, move it along.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump forward to Stuart here. Stuart's a much younger guy. He's around our age and shit. Once the old man over here is done, Stuart is a citizen.
I assess based off of, does this make emotional sense, this worldview? Does it make cultural sense, psychological, relational, and also does it make rational? So it's potentially very attractive, and I hope we don't fall into simply buying into the reasonable intellectual side of giving the case of whether Christianity is reasonable or not. Because I think Christianity, we have to take wholesale, understanding the whole person, that we are complex individuals. That's why I accept Christianity as a worldview, as rational. If we were just here to talk about the reason and the intellect, I don't think Christianity would really stand up. It wouldn't stack up. I don't think any worldview truly would. So with that, I think atheism has some tremendous holes, which when I was checking out atheism and especially agnosticism, I saw these holes and it pushed me more towards the rationality of the Christian faith. Now, one of those figures in college for me was Nietzsche. Friedrich Nietzsche, the ghost at the atheist feast, we could call it, was the one who talked about how if you believe that there is no God, God is dead, then you better be willing to live with the ramifications, to be honest. And if you are living for human rights, for love, for sacrifice, for helping the poor, then you are simply calling yourself an atheist when you are a Christian. And so typically atheists don't want to interact too much with Nietzsche or Camus or Sartre or many of the existentialists because they take their atheism so logically in consistency, and they basically say, here is the end point. We're not going to stop halfway and just say, okay, here is somehow our atheism just dressed up in a way that's more so secular humanism. It's more so, and that has problems too for me because it steals from Christianity. And most of my atheist friends have totally acknowledged that in an understanding of humanism. Secondly, the defective father theory. My atheist friends do not like when I bring this up, but I did not bring it up. Sigmund Freud did. when he talked about how typically atheists, not all atheists, he may have been alluding to all atheists. He said atheists were those who often had fathers who were absent or died early on in their lives or adolescence, a little bit later. And so I looked a little bit into this kind of study of Freud's, and it's interesting how there were 350 members of the American Association for the Advancement of Atheism.
Then how come most African Americans
intent of
are
understanding the
fatherless,
possible
but they're
causes
religious?
and the reasons for the atheistic belief? More than 90% were men, not surprising. 78% of atheists in the U.S. are white males. But of these 320 men, almost all of them report having lost a parent during childhood or had poor relationships with one or both parents. These 350 atheists also, not only that,
Hold on, pause it.
had a way lower score.
This is not an accurate research model. Okay, so we're talking about during Sigmund Freud, right? How many people's dads probably died hella early, right? And then had all of these horrible things happen, you know? I don't think that that's a good test group, right? So if we're talking about that atheists are atheists because their fathers left when they were like early in their lives, 77% of the African American population is fatherless, essentially, single mother rates. But I think that the majority of them are religious. Am I wrong? They're Christian. They consider themselves Christian. So I think that's something that you could refute right there, I guess.
Maybe they had to turn his camera off so he could cry in the background. Good going, Kevin.
Shut the fuck up. Oh my God. No, it's
Well, Ray. What percentage?
Oh my God.
Of the African American population would you say is religious or would identify as Christian?
The most God.
I would say.
Over
I would definitely say, yeah, definitely over 50. Well over 50%. You know, whether they're a Muslim or Christian, they well over 50%. Most black people that I run into, believe in God in one way or another, and you know, like, okay, that's them. You know what I'm saying? I rarely will run into a black person that even holds the same beliefs that I have, religious, political, socioeconomically, or another. When I do run into them, I'm happy as a fucking lark. I feel like I run into a long lost brother or sister. But otherwise, like, I'd be hard pressed to run into a lot of black atheists. Now there is a bunch of us out there. I've been in some groups and shit, but you know, they're ranked in the thousands. But you know, I'm in some other groups with a lot of black people in it, and the vast majority of them, regardless of what the topic is for the group, they are God-fearing, they are religious, and it is what it is.
Now, would you say that it might be disingenuous to even use a Sigmund Freud experiment as a talking point when it was how many years ago? And it was probably only done on white intellectual families, right? So I'm guessing a lot of the people that he was doing it on, I'm guessing, I don't know, I don't have the data in front of me, but I doubt that he was having a broad range of people, right? In a big group, 350 people, probably all white, probably all of the same socioeconomic, you know, breed. I would say is probably not the best thing to bring up as an example. Anyway.
So young Stephen, how did you feel when your father died? Young Stephen is making his little fucking mayonnaise and bologna sandwich and shit.
I fucking hate God. Fuck him. He killed my dad. Fuck that motherfucker.
You know, just fucking losing his mind and shit. Yeah, that's exactly what that's what Stewart is getting at. That atheists are nothing but a bunch of whiny ass white boys. Well, TJump.
Look at TJump here.
I'm telling you, he's dope. I like him already, man. But it definitely.
Zoom in on the TJump. Look at TJump. Look how clenched. Look at that jawline clenched.
It's magnificent.
He's got a strong jaw. I got a weak ass jaw. He's got a man's
You
jaw
better
right there.
not stunt your cunt a little bit too. You better your fucking cunt.
But look at Ra.
Oh yeah,
These poor guys. They're trying so hard.
this is a fucking teaser.
None plus that. Man, he's just like, man, that face is amazing. They be fucking amazing. Oh man.
You're busting my balls with that Sigmund Freud stuff, huh? I don't give a fuck about two homosexuals playing with a tiger. You can take that tiger and stick him right up your ass, pal, you see?
Oh my god.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, boys.
Get lung cancer after this.
Let's see what's going on.
Stories of an unhappy childhood because of this type of conflict. Now, why do I bring that up? I don't necessarily see, it's the I got to be careful, obviously, with the correlation causation fallacy. So I'm not saying that every atheist has this problem, but I am saying when I have conversations with college students and professors on university campuses,
but I came back and I got my slap that son of a bitch.
Christianity were rational, true. Would you believe in it? Many will say no, I wouldn't. And I say, oh, wow. But it's true. Why wouldn't you believe in it? Because of their emotional resistance, their anger towards the idea of Christianity, of Christ, of a God who supposedly is asking them for authorship, rulership over their entire lives. So there's the emotional side that you have to deal with, you have to struggle with.
Don't I look emotional here?
Langdon Gilkey is a big hero of mine. He was at Harvard.
I look emotional.
Oh my God! These two guys developed their own farts. I
he
swear
went
to God,
into
move it
a prisoner of war
on,
camp in China, and he was a secular humanist.
They
in
wash their
China.
farts, man.
And basically,
I
he
guarantee
went into this
you.
prisoner of war camp. There was zero
Jesus,
space
come on.
in this prisoner of war camp, and there were a lot of people. He went in as a secular humanist, saying, based off of reason, rationality alone, and the goodness of humankind, we are going to be able to figure this thing out and get through it together, just loving each other. Clearly, that
come on, Richie Cunningham.
He ended up becoming a theist.
Doing all this damn talking and shit. You and your dad.
Intractable.
And I mean, they
fallenness and sinful nature.
It's so funny because he basically said that atheists are atheists because they got daddy issues. That motherfucker is how old and still fucking holding his daddy's pocket, dude. What the fuck?
Right. Daddy issues out the fucking world, man. You got your dad up in the motherfucking conversation and shit.
Oh my God, let's go. When does Tom get a chance to talk, or Ra? When do we get into this?
Through the camp, James.
Thank you very much. We will pick it over to
right now.
Right now, finally.
Well. So I've got the timer reset for 12 minutes. The floor is all yours.
Oh, they do 12 minutes.
Okay, so the topic today is Christianity true? And the best evidence we have of Christianity, I guess, would be the Bible. And so the question is the Bible a reliable source of evidence? And if we're going based off of the consensus historians, the answer is no. The Bible consists of not eyewitness testimony at all. It's accounts written 20, 30, 40, 70 years after the fact, which is incredibly unreliable just based off the time frame. But even if we assume they were eyewitness testimonies written the exact moment it happened, it would still not be reliable. Eyewitness testimony is a form of conceptual evidence, so it can only justify conceptual conclusions. Like, for example, if I said, I'm imagining a unicorn, it would be reasonable to believe me because that is a conceptual conclusion about something in my head. But if I told you I saw a unicorn, like a real living, breathing unicorn, it would be unreasonable to believe me at all. This is opposed to something like if I said I saw a dog, that would be reasonable to believe me. The difference between these two claims is that dogs have an implicit empirical basis. There's lots of scientific evidence we have for dogs, their DNA, taxonomy, phylogeny, genetic makeup, what they're allergic to, how to train them. We have lots and lots of empirical evidence of dogs.
Is he reading an opening statement, or is he just like Rain Man status?
In the case of unicorns. Therefore, it's reasonable to believe me if I told you I saw a dog.
I hope you check your bed tonight. You might find your dog's head
in
next
addition to the empirical evidence
sleep.
that is implicit in the statement. The reason it's not reasonable to believe I saw a unicorn is because the only evidence is my conceptual testimony, which is unreliable. This is the case in history as well.
You must be reading this. I mean, if he's not,
he's reading it. Like I saw a dog, or like that person killed that person, or that person was crucified.
Am I
or
wrong?
that person walked into a city.
It looks
But
like he's
no
pretty-
testimony from history is accepted for things
There's
that
not a
have no
stutter
empirical basis,
or a
such as
stumble.
miracles, magic, mythical creatures, the paranormal, the supernatural, UFOs. None of those are justified based on
This
any
guy writes
amount of
essays.
testimony, no matter what, because testimony cannot justify the existence of things that have
You know, Aron Ra is
For
impressed.
that, you would need to have some kind of empirical verification today that such things do and can occur.
It would be super dope if he was
Therefore,
actually
it's not
watching
reasonable
porn
to
the
believe
entire time.
any of the historical accounts.
He's
He's
just raising it off.
Which is the consensus in history. As I can quote some famous Christian historians, Michael Lacona, most historians and biblical scholars hold to it that the study of miracle claims lies outside of the bounds of a historian acting within their professional capacity. It is not the case that historians consider the testimony of these ancient sheep herders to be evidence that miracles actually existed.
Like,
in the
okay,
past.
Tom, go ahead.
No,
Give him that offer. He can't refuse. Let's get this shit over with.
Oh my goodness.
Secondly, most
We only
of the
have
Old
12
Testament is
minutes.
demonstrably false.
He
Moses,
can't
Abraham,
refuse.
Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Cain, and Abel,
Then I'm gonna
Daniel,
let the Romans take
including
over.
the entire Exodus story to all be fabrications made up. As
Hold up, pause it. Look at
foundational
Cliff.
for the age of
Cliff threw his head all the way back. This motherfucker's on a roller coaster. Go back like 3 seconds.
Hey, yeah,
Like
zoom
3
in,
seconds.
zoom in
that
on
both
on
the
the
Old Testament
Christians'
and the New
reactions
Testament are
as
not
he's talking.
reliable
I
sources of
want to
data,
see
as
them.
confirmed by the consensus of historians in the field. We know that testimony does not work to justify.
Watch his head go flying back.
So no, we are not justified in believing that somehow there is a magic.
Oh man,
being that
Cliff
rose
is
from the
imagining
dead based off
movies.
of a book written 2,000 years ago.
That's where he is.
70 years after the fact. Even if they were, that wouldn't be justified.
They look mad as hell.
We can conclude that based off of these facts, Christianity, it's unreasonable to believe Christianity is true based off of the Bible alone, and so we'd have to get through any other factors. In order to differentiate, in order to be evidence that Christianity is true, you need some way to differentiate imagination from reality. And that's what evidence is. Evidence is whatever can differentiate between is this imagination.
I gotta boogie up my nose. Let me wipe that real quick.
In science, the way we do that is novel testable predictions, which may not be the only way. If you could provide a different way, that's perfectly fine too. But
He's
an
smelling his
acceptable
fingers.
measure of evidence is novel testable prediction. So if Christianity was true, a good basis of evidence for it would be if you could say, if I believe in God, this is the case, and if we can do this experiment to get this result, and it happens, that would be good evidence. And the fact that Christianity has been unable to provide any such examples is good evidence that it's just imaginary. The point of providing evidence that can differentiate imagination from reality is that we can come up with infinitely many imaginary explanations of anything, like what knocked over that cup.
He's
Maybe it was the
reading.
wind, maybe somebody knocked the table over.
I think it would
maybe
serve
was
him
the
better if he
squirrels,
just
maybe it was
did it
magical
from his brain.
specters,
I might be 100%
magical
wrong,
unicorns,
but
and God. You just make up
I think he might be a
infinitely
little
many
bit more
imaginary ways to explain
personable.
what knocked over that
He
cup.
just
And so
railed
we
it
need
off
some
from
way
his
to
head.
filter out all those imaginary ones.
Well, a lot of
To do
debaters,
that,
especially if you did debate in high
whatever
school,
your explanation is,
you are
it's
taught to
imaginary until demonstrated
write out your opening statement. This is an
Atheists
opening
can provide a way
statement,
to
so
differentiate
I
this is
imaginary
the
totally
actual
get
debate.
that.
So
then it's reasonable to
I get
conclude
it.
that their
I
explanation
guess I'm more of a
is
bullet
purely
point type
imaginary
person.
and
Like
nothing
I
but
already
something
get
come up
what I'm
with in
trying to
their heads.
say. I already know, so I don't have to write everything down. I do my bullet points and maybe an opening thing really quick. But it gets droll, man. Like I like TJump. He's making good points, but it's droll, man. You want to
Bars,
captivate your audience. You want
bars, TJump, bars. I'm a fan. Bars, man.
He's dope.
Nothing but
He's dope.
bars, man. Not a stumble, not a niggle, not a naggle, not a trip, not a fall. Bars. That's how you fucking do an opening statement. He went right through that, John. He like, look, I know Art the Great One gotta fucking speak. The Great One has to get his fucking words out. So let me run through this, John, real quick. I wrote it down so I can speed right on through this. These two dickheads, the dad took up most of the good chunk of the time. That's why poor Stewart had to squeeze in the last of his little bit on up in there, man. That's fucked up. TJump like, yeah, I'm about to have a great one up on this, John. Let me run through this real quick. He rattled it off. That's why he had that John written out. You know, he had to read that John nice and quick. So the great one fucking speaks and shit.
Fair enough.
I didn't understand what the fuck he was talking about, I'll be honest. He was going so fast. I was like, holy shit. Man.
Part of the problem when you write it out, man. You know?
Hell yeah.
Part of the problem.
Taylor, what would you rate that opening statement? What would you guys rate that opening statement? Out of a 10.
Content is an 8 out of 10. You know, the argument
Yeah.
is, 8 out of 10. The presentation is a 4. You lost the audience. If you don't inject your personality into what you're doing, the audience is not going to befriend you. If you're trying to make an argument to an audience and you're trying to win over an audience, you have to be personable. You have to connect with these people on some sort of wavelength. And if you end up flat and like a robot, there's a lot of words that are said, but it never really enters people's heads and then resonates and then sits there. You gotta win them over personally. So while everything he says 8, I give him a 4 on delivery, only because I think that he has more of a personality than he's letting on, and I think he's holding back a little bit. And I think that, I don't know, a little bit of exaggeration, a little bit of moving around would probably help him out.
I'm giving TJump straight up 10s across the fucking board because I'm a fan. Fucking immaculate. I couldn't have done it better myself, I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, I couldn't have done it better myself. I couldn't have written anything better like that. I couldn't. I'll give him credit. I think I could have delivered it a little bit better with some bullet points, though.
Definitely needs some bullet points, though. Yeah.
Are you ready for this, though? Are you ready for the Raw, man? That's who I'm here.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm here to see too. All right, let me start this man on off. The great one, ladies and gentlemen. The great one is about to fucking speak. Y'all shut the fuck up.
We lost KKK Kevin.
What?
I guess it's my turn to jump in at this point. All right. Well, first I wanted to say that I had a good relationship with both of my parents, as I think most other atheists did. Matt Dillahunty and Seth Andrews did, both of them, and most of the other atheists I've ever known. The Christians in this debate appear to be arguing against imaginary atheists, making arguments I've never heard any atheist make. And I've spoken at dozens of atheist conferences around the world, so I'm very surprised to hear some of these things. For example, I would say that objective truth definitely does exist, and I can't even imagine an atheist saying otherwise. The truth is what the facts are, not whatever else we might rather pretend instead. And facts are objectively verifiable by definition, so truth would be as well. And the Gospels, as Tom said, are hardly reliable as historically accurate. They constantly contradict each other. I mean, who owned the land that Judas died on? You know, and with what money did they buy it? Whoever bought it, because Judas died. There's so many different options there, and Jesus died both before and after the Passover. He was born in 2 different places, raised in 2 different places. He was born both before the death of Herod and after the census of Quirinus, which was a decade later. And so there's many aspects of the story of Jesus and the character of Jesus were obviously adapted to, like, appropriate John the Baptist's following and some other people's following. And that's why his history was fudged a little bit, so that Jesus has much the same childhood as Moses did, who also was adopted his bit of childhood from Sargon of Akkad. You know, they all just kind of like repeat these same stories. And I remember a meeting with a high priest of a Wicca coven who said that his patron deity was Dionysus, and he read the story of how Dionysus turned springs of water, so that the springs of the earth bring forth wine instead of water. It's a much better trick than the Penn and Teller thing, where you just pour water into a jug and pour wine out. Any magician can do that, but it's a much better trick to have the springs of the earth bring forth wine. And it reminded me that every story that we hear about Jesus is taken from some other myth that already existed many centuries earlier. Dionysus, Prometheus, and a number of others. So why would God make his own son, if God existed, which I believed at that time, why would God make his own son as a sequel to a common human idea that was already in all of these other stories? So either Dionysus really could turn water into wine just like Jesus did, or, and this is infinitely more probable, Jesus couldn't really do it either. The character of Jesus is obviously based on a handful of fictional characters and possibly some real characters too. I've heard Christians name a whole bunch of different Jesusii. Jesus of Damnius, that's our guy, and Jesus ben Ananias, this is our guy too. No, they're definitely talking about different people. Josephus talked about 19 and arguably 20 Jesuses, And they're not the ones that, if you could get into a time machine and go find Jesus, which I don't think is possible, not even if you spoke Aramaic could you find Jesus. With a TARDIS could you find him.
I wish
So let's
Ra
pretend that
got
you
a little
could.
bit
If
more
you
into
could
that.
find one guy on which most of the legend was based.
The water.
You're never going to find anybody who
really
had
do.
the wandering the streets of Judea,
That was
because
his
that's
first
just one of
miracle.
the
And it was
many.
at a wedding that his mom was.
In the hours of darkness when
like
Jesus
basically
supposedly died,
putting
it was
on. She was the
anywhere
wedding
in the world.
planner.
None of that happened.
And they ran out of wine.
If you could find
So
that,
it would make sense to me that they probably
one guy central to that story, or upon which
No
most of the story was based, if there was a living character on which it was based, and you bring him forward and show him Jesus Christ superstar, he would not recognize that that story was about him. It'd be much the same thing as if you brought Robin Hood or King Arthur back in time, and I'm not entirely sure you could find either of them either. But then the biggest problem with Christianity is the impossible dichotomy.
They probably wouldn't recognize themselves, especially Jesus Christ superstar. They'd be like, "This motherfucker white." Is that motherfucker blonde and shit? You fucking kidding me?
Oh man!
Without question, without reservation, without reason, then you get all the way on the far end. You can kiss the colon of God for all eternity, forever and ever and ever, trapped on a cloud, playing a harp, and praising a being with obviously a hugely, well, he's a very sensitive, narcissistic character. And
He hurt their feelings.
Nice thoughts.
Yeah, look at their faces.
Look at TJump.
It looks like they just asked their the girl that they had a crush on all high school at prom, and that bitch laughed.
Yeah.
That's their faces right now. And then TJump looks like the guy behind the girls, and then saw their face as she said no.
Their feelings hurt.
I could
He
hear the
hurt the shit out of them. Oh man.
Hold on, what's going on? We having some Are we still up?
Yeah, we're still up.
We're still yeah. Good? Everything good?
Yeah, James is saying he can't find the video. And it might be down.
Check the link, it won't.
But I just checked it out. We're still up. We might have to double check that. We did lose all of our viewers abruptly.
Yeah, link working for me. The link works for me. We're still up.
Yeah, it works for me too.
Yeah.
I don't know what Gibson's talking about.
Sorry, big guy.
I don't know what's going on. So serious.
Oh man.
Are we
Fucking
done?
hilarious.
Fucking solar knocking on my fucking door, being all fucking weird.
Hold on. Is the link working for you for real?
Yeah, the link's working for me. Yeah, I'm gonna hit it again. And I'm gonna share.
Or are we talking about Saunders? We better get his ass in here, dude.
Yeah, it's on James.
I'm gonna copy and paste the one that.
Yeah, we got our views back. We got our viewers back. So obviously, yeah. James was saying the video went down. I wonder what did Aron Ra hurt Christianity that bad? Is it that bad? They fucking put a rip through cyberspace. Is that what happened?
Yeah, he heard him so bad.
It was Jesus.
Clicked. It said.
Jesus
Not today.
Not today.
Oh man.
My Lord.
But see what I'm
Their
talking
face.
about? Like, okay, so Ra, he makes really good points very quickly, it's succinctly, right? And he also has personality behind him. So anything that he says is really interesting. I mean, really interesting. Even though he stumbles, it makes him kind of real. So I really like Ra. TJump is fucking dope. Definitely.
Look what it did to TJump. Look at TJump.
But Ra is on point.
I think they had because I've seen TJump in debates and he be lighting motherfuckers up. And I think they had a conversation. TJ's playing the straight man. Ra is definitely playing a wild card up in this job. It's like, let me do the roasting.
Or are you talking about like good cop, bad cop type of routine?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I got
Yeah.
you. Giving him the ruse.
Yeah.
It's kind of like setting up the layup and then Michael Jordan. Got you.
Yeah, because I watched this joint yesterday
and drags the Christian's like face on his nuts as he's fucking slamming it. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I mean, the dad looked like he got posterized the whole fucking like he just. Oh man.
I know better Christian debaters. I know way better Christian debaters than these guys.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
And I'm not just slamming on Christians. I just know
the
better
other end of the spectrum is you get the threat of a fate worse than death for anybody who doesn't believe. There's no intermediate. We know that most things fall into the bell curve. Most people, and whether it's religion or politics or whatever, and most people sit in the bell curve. They're not in the extremes. Most people are down toward the middle. But Christianity doesn't allow that. There's only extreme this and extreme that. You either get infinite bliss and joy, which would still be
30
maddening
more seconds.
in your first million years, or you get infinite eternal punishment, the stick and the carrot. And that's obviously not what a God would want. And if he really existed, these are obviously the lies that desperate wanna-believers want to make you believe with.
Thanks so much. We will kick it into open discussion mode. Thanks so much, gentlemen, and the floor is all yours.
Yeah, I have a question real quick. You guys mentioned that Jesus' ethical theory was like revolutionary, but as far as I know, Jesus said nothing original. Like all of the things Jesus espoused predated Jesus, like the golden rule specifically came from Hinduism before Jesus and Jainism before Hinduism. I don't know of anything unique that Jesus did ethically that didn't.
Oh, you see Cliff? Look.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
said,
The
"Fuck."
golden rule, for example, which was taken from other religions prior to it, because a whole lot of different philosophies already had this. So humanism didn't borrow squat from Christianity. The only thing we would have borrowed is an irrational belief. You either believe this or we'll kill you, and that's it.
Yeah, these two as a team, though, I think you're right. I think
you're right on the majority of that. The two you're missing
I like
is
them as a team.
one,
it is better
completely
this way.
unique to Christianity.
It's
is
a setup
love
and
your
dunk.
enemies.
No.
Second one, overcome evil with good.
No. You haven't read the Bhagavad Gita. I'm sorry, no. Krishna is a badass predecessor to Jesus. Krishna did everything Jesus
Look at
did.
TJ's face. It's like he already know.
And yeah, the whole love.
I ain't gotta do much.
Krishna already did that.
Where does Krishna say love your enemies? Not your neighbor. Enemies.
It wasn't one of the things that I quoted.
Very
but
different.
I quoted a bunch of things out of the Bhagavad Gita. I'm like, oh, this is exactly what Jesus said. I did the same thing with Dionysus. When Dionysus calls himself the fruit of the vine, where have I heard that before? Right? So I mean, all of these things are gleaned from this stapled onto Jesus.
No, sir. I've read the Bhagavad Gita, and it does not say to love your enemy.
Bhagavad Gita.
That is
Yes, it
totally
does.
unique with Jesus. Second thing that's totally unique.
Cliff. It's pronounced Bhagavad Gita, not Bhagavad Gita.
Hey, but I like this. This looks like fucking celebrity deathmatch now. You know what I'm saying? Like they did introduction.
Yeah.
Now they're just like, "Ah."
Yeah, this is the good shit. This is where they're going at each other. You know what I'm saying? Questioning each other. This is the open format part. This is
Start clawing each other's eyeballs out.
Oh, what's going on? What's going on, my shit?
You're at 32
With
minutes.
Jesus is grace. The whole basis of Hinduism is work off your bad karma through a cycle of reincarnations, and eventually, if you work hard enough, you will attain nirvana.
But that's
Jesus
not at all.
Christ
That's
says you
not
will
in the
never
Bhagavad
attain
Gita.
heaven by your own works. It
But
is
that's
a
not
gift
in the
from
Bhagavad
God.
Gita.
That's the
Bhagavad-
grace of God versus
But
religion.
he's not
which is
trying to
based on
prove
works.
that,
That's
that
a
it's
radical
that
contradiction.
Hinduism
The
and
Bhagavad
belief
Gita
Hinduism
does
is
not talk
right.
about
He's
that.
just
The
saying that they
Bhagavad Gita
borrow
instead
off of
talks
it.
about fulfilling
That's
your
where Cliff is
casserole,
going wrong.
which
He's
is why
basically
you're
saying, well,
supposed to
because
go.
of this, and then you have to do this, and then this. It's like, but you can tell it's borrowed. So that's
Anybody
all
is
he's trying to say.
intolerant.
He's trying to like defend Christianity against, Hinduism, and it's like that's not the point that Ra's trying to make. He's like, I'm trying to say that I'm a fucking atheist, dude. I'm not telling you that I believe in Hinduism. I'm just saying that there's a lot of things that borrowed, that it's not original idea.
Yeah, a lot of shit from Taylor.
Yeah.
You're a Christian. Would you say that some of the shit in the Bible is borrowed?
Some of the what?
Would you say that some of the shit in the Bible is borrowed?
No, fuck no.
100% original works.
That's all right.
All right,
Not even the Great Flood.
Nope.
Interesting.
That came about much later.
Hmm.
The flood
War with
tablet.
your own family and friends, because it doesn't matter that you kill these bodies because they're just going to come back again. So you're not able to kill anybody permanently.
Hinduism talks about working off bad karma through a cycle of reincarnations and eventually attaining nirvana. Jesus Christ says you can never work your way to heaven. It is a gift that God gives you by grace.
By grace. And what does that mean? It goes back to what I said before. Now, admittedly, there's a difference between Hinduism and Christianity, because you do have the Krishna consciousness. If you're with the bhakti, you can achieve heaven in their perspective. And with Christianity, it's just you believe what I say because I said so without question, and then you get the reward. And that's it.
That's not fair. That's so dishonest, it's scary.
How is it dishonest? I don't say things that are dishonest. That's why I'm not a believer.
You are misrepresenting Jesus Christ.
So you're telling me that there is a way that a non-believer
You're misrepresenting Jesus Christ. And this scratches his head. Come on, man. Come on, Cliff.
Damn.
get into heaven.
I'm telling you,
Abraham,
Abraham never heard the word Jesus Christ.
He's saucy. He's
right?
Sauce
Yeah.
all over. He gets a little saucy. You fucking call me dishonest?
How dare you? Hold the fucking phone.
Yeah.
I want to hit you with another fucking truth bomb, dog. Shit.
To the best of his ability, Abraham put his faith in God, and Hebrews chapter 11 talks about Abraham.
And Abraham was Jewish.
An incredible man of
And yet,
faith.
and yet the Christians have appropriated Abraham to say that he's going to be going to Christian heaven. And in the Quran, it says that Abraham is going to.
11 says that.
You mind if I
in the
interrupt a
Quran,
little
it
bit?
says that
Sorry.
he's Muslim.
I wanted
That
to,
Abraham is going to the Muslim heaven.
I want to go back to the point you mentioned earlier, that the uniqueness of Jesus saying, "Love thy enemy." So I just found 6 quotes that predate Jesus. Do not return evil unto your adversary. Requite with kindness to the one who does evil to you. Maintain justice for your enemy. The Akkadian Council of Wisdom, circa 2000 BC. Buddhism, in the world, hate never yet dispelled hate. Only love dispel hate. This is the law. Inexhaustible, the Dhamma from mentioned Buddhism. Return love for hatred. Otherwise, when a great hatred is reconciled, some of it will surely remain. How can this end in goodness? Taoist Tai Shang King Ping Ping, circa 200 BC. So no, that is definitely not originated in Jesus at all.
Damn, Tommy.
Because love your enemy is reach out for your enemy. It's not a question of don't return hate for hate.
Ra, love
When
that.
Christ calls us to love, he is calling us to take the initiative and to do good for others, even those who have hurt us in the past.
TJump is like
Not the
genius for
Samaritans,
the
because
Joe
they're
Rogan.
just dogs.
This
They
is
don't
what
get the Gehenna scripture, because you guys are only going to be delivering to the Jews, not to the Samaritans or the Gentiles.
What's the parable of the Good Samaritan?
Remember when Jesus said that he wasn't going to share the gospel with Samaritans because they are dogs, and it would be like giving table scraps?
What about the woman at the well?
Exactly.
She was a
And
Samaritan.
then what about
He
Jesus
was reaching
trying
out to he was telling parables about reaching out to Samaritans. He was reaching out to Samaritans. He was doing the exact opposite of that. Wait, just to go back to T-Jump's point, real quick, we'll come back to this one. What
Don't
made
go the way of
Christianity
the
so
Samaritans,
attractive
yeah.
dog.
was that it wasn't
You not catch your
I'll say that again.
Stuart's mad, man.
Jesus said, what about the Samaritans?
Yeah. Shit. When she come in, he mad as shit.
Aron Ra is throwing out
Better
one
calm the
verse,
fuck on down, dog.
immediately making it contradict.
Zoom in on Cliff's face. Does he look like he's proud of his son, or does it look like he feels like he's not on the boat that is sinking?
Son, what are you doing? What are you doing? Stop! Stop talking! Don't say nothing else.
Don't
Hold
be
it, Dad,
more
I got
aggressive
this.
than me. How are you so aggressive?
I got this. Son, what would Jesus do?
You're falling into his trap. You're falling into his trap. Sit back, son.
No, right. Oh, wait, what? An error occurred.
You're at 3604. So if you need to refresh it.
Oh, it's not on there.
You fix that. I'm gonna get a shot of Patron.
Okay. What's going on with my shit? What's going on with this shit? And all of a sudden, it's just like, yeah, fuck you. Fuck you, Ray.
I got a fucking wisdom tooth coming in, dude. This shit's fucking
What I do
brutal.
with my damn Cheetos?
Oh, for real?
Damn it. It's not a good spread without Cheetos. Oh, there they are.
Oh. All right, so
It
you
wasn't about simply working your way to God. It was about grace because Jesus Christ came and died for his enemies. So that's
It was
God
about
dying for his very enemies.
restart the video.
But reverse this whole cycle. And all of a sudden you have, like Aron was saying earlier, you didn't have this caste system anymore. No longer were the Romans defining social reputation or other gods, perhaps, in terms of your rung on the ladder. Instead, it was God becoming human flesh, dying, and saying everyone now is on the same plane. So radically different from every other god at that time.
Wait a second. I wanted to respond to Cliff really quick. Even if I grant what you were saying, that the reaching out to your enemy was what you're assuming originated with Jesus, well, that's false too, because again, Buddhism says save all suffering beings everywhere, including
Not only that, but you love your enemy as yourself was translated from
Buddhism
love your fellow
taught that,
Jew.
Buddhism
as
taught
yourself.
that everything is an illusion.
No.
Buddhism taught cut off your desires. That's what Siddhartha taught. Cut off your desires. And Jesus Christ says, no, don't cut off your desires. Desire the well-being of even your enemy. Be good to your enemy, even if your enemy doesn't deserve
Jesus
it.
was himself a renunciate, or claimed to be, just like Buddha.
Jesus never claimed to be a renunciate.
So
Never
do
once
you
did he
think when
use that
Buddha
word.
says
So Jesus
all suffering beings
spent
everywhere,
lavishly on himself. Jesus didn't preach that it was impossible for a rich man to get into heaven.
I can promise you, he taught Zacchaeus that Zacchaeus, because of his faith in him, would be in heaven. And Zacchaeus gave half of his money away to the poor, half, not all of it.
Gave half his money away to the poor, and that was the criteria.
No, that was not
Because
the criteria. That was a sign of his faith.
You had to,
The rich
you had to
young
sell
ruler
your
said,
clothes.
sell
you
it
had-
all and give to the poor.
Exactly.
And come
So
and
he was a
follow me.
renunciate.
Man, this went
just
off
like
the
I said.
rails.
Wait, I think that
Are they
answers
still
your
talking about
earlier
whether
question
Christianity
too.
is true or not?
In
Or are they
terms
talking
of
about
look at
that-
random
the epic
historical
document.
context
Lazarus.
from
Let's get back
different
to
things? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't seem like they're debating whether Christianity is true. They're just debating on, I don't
back to
know.
hell and the whole carrot and the stick thing. Jesus in no way sends that man to the lake of fire.
But the Christians
like
are setting the
Revelation talks
tone.
about.
And TJump
Instead,
and
he
Ra
simply
are
talks
just
about
like
as rich
playing
man.
on
He
their
loses his
court.
name, showing that his very identity is in his wealth, and so he wants to live separately from God. That's why Jesus is bending over backwards so many times to talk about the poisonous nature of money. It's a good thing, but it can be poisoned so quickly. That's why he talks about the eye of the needle. That's why he speaks against it in the sense of
In the sense of what?
Is this why I keep doing this to me?
Was there any time in the Bible, Taylor, that Jesus said that money is a good thing? Am I tripping? Do I not remember that?
No, he said to give what belongs to God, and what belongs
Right.
to Caesar. It's of the world.
If you were a disciple, you had to leave all your belongings. You had to leave everything.
Yeah, exactly.
It never really even stated that Jesus ever even had money for any reason.
No, but even in the parable of the talents, which a lot of these guys like to make capitalism, it tells a narrative about a slave with 10 talents went to the market and gambled and bought and sold and did this, and he came back with 20 talents. And then he got another slave with 3 talents. He went to the market, bought, sold, gambled, right? He came back with 6 talents. Well, the guy with 1 talent went and buried it in the field. So I'll have 1 talent when the master gets back. The guy with the 1 talent, right, got thrown in hell.
Oh yeah.
Because Jesus and the Lord said to him, "It would better that you had gone to the market and lost that with usury, meaning that you lost all of it and came back to me empty-handed, than to come back to me, bury that 1 talent, and take no risk whatsoever." That has nothing to do with money. It has to do with the man's faith.
The Bible does insinuate, though, that Jesus did come from
be careful not to
a
lose
family
yourself
that
in
had
wealth.
money.
Another mystery.
Just based on even just we were going back to the first miracle that Jesus enacted when he turned water into wine. That was at a wedding that his mother was like basically planning. That she was like a wedding planner, and she put on this wedding for, you know, this royal type of family. And this royal family isn't just going to pick poor people. They're going to pick people who are socially plugged in. They're going to pick people who know what they're doing, who have done this before, who have entertained people, that knows what a wedding with money kind of looks like and how it handles. So, I mean, that in itself, because Mary is the one who was planning the wedding, right, Taylor?
Nope.
Yeah. So, you know, that's when they ran out of wine, and that's when Jesus said, "Well, I got water turning into wine." By that time, all the guests were probably pretty drunk. Probably would have been pretty easy to pull a magic trick out of your hat for the first one. Not saying that it didn't happen. I'm just saying that you know, it's not out of the realm of possibility. It's for your first miracle, when they're talking about, you know, desires and stuff, and, you know, not to give into desires, and you can have desires, and then all of a sudden you're talking about the first miracle that Jesus ever performed was getting people fucking rocked.
Yeah.
It's a little contradictory, but yeah, I guess that's my point, is that from what I see and from how I've dissected the Bible, Jesus came from money, because they're not going to hire some poor person to plan the wedding. They're just not.
Translation was that it never actually said it'd be a camel that would go through the eye of a needle, that it was actually a knot of camel hair.
That's true.
That would go through the eye of a needle.
We can agree on that.
Yeah, and another of the mistranslations was the idea that Jesus was born of a virgin, because the actual word meant unmarried maiden. And so another several prophecies, you know, Isaiah 7, that was
That's where he's
yes.
the word
Matthew. Whoever wrote Matthew obviously hadn't paid much attention when he wrote Isaiah, because he messed that completely up.
No, he didn't. You know why you're wrong?
I know why I'm
Why?
right.
The Septuagint translates that Hebrew word as virgin in the Greek. So obviously, Aaron, you're wrong.
And the E.
Just
Well,
go back to
obviously,
Isaiah
I'm right.
7:14.
Obviously, I'm right, because if you read
Septuagint, which was the
is not used
Greek
the word
translation of the Hebrew Old Testament.
Methulah.
So
The word Methulah is the word for virgin in Hebrew. That is not the word that appears in Isaiah chapter 7. It's the word Alma, which means young woman, maid, whatever. Right? He's saying that they translate it in Greek into a virgin, but unfortunately, it's not the same word used for virgin. All right, because we always find Methulah, the word for virgin, in other passages in Isaiah, like when he said, "Oh, beautiful virgins come out of Zion, beautiful virgins of Zion," right? Isaiah chapter 14, Isaiah 26. He uses a different word. He knows a different word.
So Mary wasn't a virgin.
Well, no, that's just a prophecy that they can say that, you know, the Alma will give child. It doesn't take away from the prophecy. It's just a word. It's a semantic game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's been translated to virgin in Greek, like he's saying, but it doesn't translate that in Hebrew.
Good point.
Right? It could mean the same thing, though. Right? Saying a young girl, right, an Alma, a young lady, will give birth to a son as a sign.
Well, I think that's probably also another borrowed translation, that whether it was written however it was written, I think that it's still a borrowed theme from different religions. There's a lot of virgin, you know what I mean? There's a lot of virgin mothers in a lot of different religions throughout history, even before Christianity. So it's probably, that's why it was probably placed that way.
Not to lose yourself in wealth.
Another mistranslation was that it never actually said that it'd be a camel that would go through the eye of a needle, that it was actually a knot of camel hair.
That's true.
That would go through the eye of a needle.
We can agree on that.
Yeah, and another of the mistranslations was the idea that Jesus was born of a virgin, because the actual word meant unmarried maiden.
Yes.
And so another several prophecies, you know, that Isaiah.
The word
Which would make
Alma.
sense because, to be honest, there probably wasn't a lot of virgins back in the day. You know, and people kind of just, men were really big piggies, dude. They just kind of took what they wanted. So,
No,
I mean, that would put a lot of women off the table if, you know, that was the case.
No, but if you were,
like Taylor was saying, it's probably a semantic thing when you're talking about words and married virgins and maidens and stuff like that. Someone who was unclaimed, I would guess, is the best way to say it. They've never been really claimed before. If claimed is a good word to use, I don't know.
Alma is a more.
Don't want to get canceled, you know. Don't want to get canceled again.
No, but saying Alma to somebody is like we are, like we say like Alma, like to your daughter, say like come here, young lady, or something like that, or come here, girl, right? It's like that. They have a word for a woman that's not a female that's under age or not very old. Is Alma. That's acceptable. To call them virgins and shit is like totally. You don't go up and say, "Hey, virgins, how you virgins doing?" Right? That's socially unacceptable. Now, if there was an Alma that wasn't a virgin, she'd be referred to as the whore, the harlot, the zakah, right? Because that was socially unacceptable at the time. So it's a semantic game. But yeah,
am I coming in clear for you guys?
Yeah, you're doing great, Ray.
Saying that the virgin,
what's going on,
just be whatever it is on your end for the internet.
Yeah.
Saying the virgin will give child is not a correct, right? It says that, but that's not the way that would be read in Hebrew, right? Saying the virgin, that's not what saying oh virgin, like poetically is one thing, but calling someone the virgin is not correct.
Hey Taylor, you think you can run video duties for a bit while I reset my modem?
What happened? We lose connectivity.
Well, my fucking thing is acting fucking retarded. My shit's acting retarded right now.
Tell everyone in your house to get off the goddamn Wi-Fi and use data.
Oh, I'm the only one.
That's what I have to do in my house. I'm like, everybody off the Wi-Fi. Get off the fucking Wi-Fi.
Let's see what's going on here. I think it might be time for a beer break. So let's re-upload, reboot, and get together, and maybe I can throw up a little.
You just play that fucking countdown for no reason. Yo.
You couldn't have planned that better, Taylor.
It's still live, you genius. Oh man,
30 seconds went by hella quick.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! All right, I'm gonna reset. I'm probably gonna cut out, but I'm gonna hop on my phone and shit real quick. I'm gonna reset this box.
Yeah, let's see what's going on here. We've lost our choice debate.
Oh, let's see here. Hold on, I'm gonna pause that. Until I'm paused.
Let's see what's going on.
It's probably because I got like multiple devices hooked up to my signal at one fucking time right now. I'm looking at this shit.
I think that was from the Christian rage that was starting to happen between that father-son duo. I think their sexual oppressed energy and hatred for atheists fucking made everything short out.
Right? They're like, oh, they're talking about us. No. Ruin Ray-Bay. Lord Jesus, can you please come down and ruin Ray-Bay's fucking Wi-Fi? Ruin it enough so that
they paid some.
You can't even utilize it. So, one thing that's connected to the gateway should be
mine. Tooth pain is at bay for now.
No. All right, there we go. I got it.
There it is. There it is. This is the one. And it's on the lowest bandwidth, right?
It's on 360p.
Put it down to 120. We don't even need to see their face. We know what they look like. On 140. There you go.
144 in blurry vision.
It's all right. We got it.
I still might have to reset my box. This is something real quick. Let's see if I can read it. Is there an immaterial?
Wow.
Oh, they had another debate. What? It's like
Hey,
a
where's that
sequel.
lady
So
from
this is a
Africa?
sequel.
This would be perfect right now.
Right. She would be a. This would have been.
That does charity over there. That we should probably give a shout out to so that we can help her out.
One of these fucking videos is popping up. Oh, it'll pop up right there. Oh, you want to watch this dumb shit next? Come on, YouTube. Stop fucking dicking around. Stop fucking. Let me close Facebook and shit, baby. All right, I'm gonna step out. I'll be back.
All right, you do your thing, big guy.
Yeah, I already said that.
Yeah, we're in deep shit right now with our audio.
Nah, that's all right.
And then it appears that nobody can see us. That's what James keeps telling me, that the video's down. I've seen it twice playing.
Hey, well, this would be a good chance to show the audience or whoever watches this. You can get your own Debate the Facts t-shirts. Look at Taylor. You want to show off your shirt? Show that badass shirt off, dude. Let me see it.
There is no audience, but yeah,
that's all right.
We're
People
almost
see it.
stocked. We have a limited supply at the moment, but we'll eventually have Debate the Facts.
Nice.
Hold on, let me see if I still got the fucking.
Hey, you just let me know how much money I got to send you so that I can get one of those.
What's up? The battle kitties came in today, so I only got the samples. But yeah, I can get one at a time. It takes a couple weeks to get.
I get it. Take
But
time.
I'll send you one. Yeah, I'll send you yours. It should take. It'll probably be like a week and a half or something like that.
Turned out pretty good, Taylor.
You'll get one of these. And then yeah, we'll have more shit up available pretty soon. We'll have a merch store once we get monetized. I don't know when that's gonna happen because Facebook's a crapshoot. I've been struggling at 600. I need 1,040 watch hours, 4,000 watch hours before I can open the merch store.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll happen eventually, right? It's just, it just takes time to get monetized. It's fun.
Oh yeah, I remember what I was telling you guys on the last live stream, or at least behind the scenes after you guys were done, that Joe Rogan for like 2 years, dude, he was doing his podcast, and his friends would come over and they're like, "Why the fuck is he doing this? This is kind of dumb." And they're like, "I don't know, man. This is something he wants to do. Whatever." And then now look at him. So you just got to keep regular with it, dude.
Yeah, we just keep doing.
Keep streaming, keep doing it. That algorithm's gonna hit eventually, dude.
Yep. They stop deleting our fucking subscribers.
Especially with my bare feet, ladies. See that? Ladies with foot fetishes. There you go.
Yeah, Ray, did you see this?
This is my phone. Hold on, I just plugged my box back in, so I gotta wait for that to.
You see this ginormous t-shirt?
There we go.
Dude, that's fucking huge. How is he gonna fit in that?
He wears big clothes.
Oh,
what?
But you see that, Ray?
Oh yeah, that's. Oh, there we go. That's cute. I'm gonna be carrot. I'm gonna be carrot. Yeah, I know.
I didn't check the box. I might have got the hats. Either today or tomorrow.
Where's Saunders? Where's that guy?
Saunders is he's probably playing with his balls right now. Yeah, smoking his.
Dude, if you really want viewers, you need to send all of those people that canceled me the fact that I'm on here. And
that's what we're fucking
nuts, dude. They'll be in here and they'll be talking shit the entire time in the chat. And that'll help the algorithm out.
That fucking asshole, Kevin.
Oh, dude, Ray Bay. Dude, there are people that fucking hate me with a passion. And now Justin's the new one. Justin hates me, dude. I mean, so bad. One of these days, on behind the scenes, I'll send you guys. I'll let you listen to the voicemails that he left me. Let's just put it this way: it definitely sounds like he's from the Islamic faith. Sounds that way.
I wonder if we're ever gonna get back.
Did you guys get a chance to actually look at the Justin interview that he had with that atheist?
No, I ain't see that John yet.
We're gonna take a look at that on Thursday.
I watched a good 45 minutes of it. A lot of talking. There's a lot of.
It appeared that things were flying over the young man's head. Are you wait? Is your computer down, Mr. Bay?
No, his phone's down. Oh no. It's that Arizona Wi-Fi, man.
Arizona. They're scared of the 5G. They're afraid 5G is going to give them COVID. So they got this bunk ass internet now. They're stuck. And pretty soon they're going to cut off our Wi-Fi if we don't get vaccines.
Dude, I've somehow avoided it this long, man.
What in the hell was I doing? Yeah, someone earlier made a Facebook post and asked me if white people were evil, and I said yes. And he's all, "Why do you think that? Why do you think white people are evil?" And I'm just like, "Well, it's in our genetics. We just completely flushed out the melanin. We kicked it out of us." So obviously, like genetically, we didn't even have a say in the matter. Like all the melanin's out. There's none in us. We got rid of it. Our genetics did it. Yeah, he's going. Look at, we genetically got rid of the melanated one.
Oh, stop it. Oh, stop. This fucking guy. I'm staying true to the Ray Bay, dog.
My StreamYard genetically kicked out the melanated one.
Oh, shut up, dude. Oh, my God. People watching. That's his words, not mine. His words, not mine.
Yeah, okay. How much melanin do you have?
Toxic Taylor. That's dope. Who came up with that? Did someone give you that nickname?
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me.
And I was like,
you know what you should do on one of these episodes? Change my name from Kevin Devine to Spinal Pirate.
Spinal Pirate?
That's the nickname that Jen and all those people gave me. All those crazy chicks. They started calling me Spinal Pirate because I have degenerative spine disease. So they thought that was going to hurt my feelings, but it actually sounds kind of badass. It sounds like a punk band.
Spinal Pirate?
Yeah. That's how they like to slam me. Is they're like, "Oh, you probably can't do anything because you're Spinal Pirate. You're probably so weak and feeble." So it's always awesome having liberals gang up on you and use your disease that's led to you having to rip out your spine against you. But, you know, they do everything in acceptance and in the name of love, right? So.
Because that's what, when I first met Mr. Bay, Raymond, back a couple years ago, we did a live and we said, "Hey, let's do a live in this. There's a BLM group. It's a very militant group, and it's called Ask a White Person." And Ray asked me a bunch of questions pertaining to white people. most of which I didn't know. But he asked me why we love trail mix, and I'm like, because we can take it with us and shit when we go to like China and we go to Africa.
yeah.
We can take it with us when we
That's
go.
why there's white people everywhere. Instead of having to be taken over on ships, white people, they just go, fuck it. If I die, I die. But I have trail mix in my pocket. So
We leave a trail of mayonnaise everywhere we go.
I know I do. My girlfriend complains about that. Why is there mayonnaise all over the shower handle?
Yeah, why is there a trail of mayonnaise leading to Elaine's house?
Who's Elaine?
Elaine. I get that all the time. Where were you? I'm like, oh, I was just, I get to work in Lane. And, oh, yeah, but I found a trail of mayonnaise going to Elaine's house. You're not going to know anything about that?
Nah, dude, I'm super fucking lucky because there's no way in this relationship where I'd ever have to go to Elaine's house because Elaine would just be over here in the same bed as us. It's dope. It's dope, dude. Life is sweet, man.
So Elaine leads the mayonnaise trail to your house.
Yes. The snail trail, if you will.
Now, where the fuck is that?
Oh, Ray Bay.
Where the fuck is Mr. Bay?
This is our first full live stream together, and his internet isn't working.
Horribly unprofessional. He's on a different. He's on that a different time than we are.
He is. He's an hour ahead.
Yeah, he thinks the time goes by a little bit slower.
Which is interesting because he's never really had internet problems every time that I happen to be talking with you guys. It's probably because everyone came home and started logging on, and this is probably the time of night for them to where their internet would be and their Wi-Fi would be all fucked up, right? Too much traffic. Yeah.
What the fuck? People still playing GTA 5 and shit. Why couldn't they do that with Red Dead 2?
What?
Wow, look who shows up late. All right, yeah, late. Ooh.
Late. Look
Why
who
you
shows up
always
late.
late?
I wasn't even late. No,
There he is.
my Wi-Fi. I don't know. It hasn't kicked in yet.
You know what though? I'm a little disappointed that you're not wearing sunglasses at night. I'm just saying. So I'm just a little disappointed. Just a little.
I can't believe we lost the damn feed.
I ain't want to go tripping down these stone stairs and shit.
We lost our Christian shit show.
I can imagine you while you're streaming, you're falling down the stairs, and the camera just shows like. Yeah.
The house manager be like, "Oh, we're not gonna test you. We're gonna test you."
How's that modem? Because if we don't get this solved quick, my girl just arrived. I'm gonna hop in the shower with her. So let's do this. And I already took a shower. You know what I'm saying?
I don't have it under connect automatically. That's fine. All right.
And by the way, Ray Babe, your shirt is the dopest shirt.
Oh, thank you.
I really want to get that shirt. That's dope. And I know I'd probably rock it, but I would give you credit for the fact that you started that.
Courtesy of the Hot Twins.
That's dope.
I give credit to where credit is due. Those guys, they got some pretty damn good shirts and shit.
That's dope.
And I was like, oh, I like that. So I like that socialism distancing one. Let me get that shit. I think I got it in small though. Usually get shirts in medium. They sent me a small. They was like, no, use a small.
It shows your boobs off, man. You know what I mean? It shows it.
Shoot.
Kevin 11. That's
Muhammad. Oh
Muhammad says
yeah,
we should
this
call
is the
you
guy that
Kevin
kicked me out
11.
of the group because I said with Israel you get hummus, and then with Palestine you get Hamas, and then he said, "Oh yeah, that's cute. Tell me more about all that." And then I sent a picture of a father carrying his dead child from an airstrike, and I said, "You can educate yourself." And then he kicked me out of the group.
Damn.
It may not be the same Muhammad. If it's not, I apologize.
Yeah, this is the young Muhammad.
Oh, this might be the young Muhammad. All right. If this is not the case, I apologize.
There are a lot of
There's a few Muhammads and
Muhammad.
Allahs out there, and Khalil Allahs, and it's hard to keep up, to be honest.
But yeah,
Oh,
there's
there's
100
two.
Muhammad. That's why I give them little nicknames. Like this is young Muhammad. There's there's a lot of Muhammads. Remember that.
Oh, Young M.
That's a pretty popular name.
That's dope. All right, I can get on board with that. Young M.
Yeah, I don't think he has admin powers in that. He's in the GTS stream group. He's not in the. Well, he is in the Khalil Allah group, but I don't think he has admin powers. I think that's
Yeah, they do not like me in that group. They fucking.
Mo L? He's asking. Was it Muhammad L? I don't think it was Mo L either, because Mo L is up in here too.
I don't know. You know what? I shouldn't have said anything. I shouldn't even thrown anybody on the bus if I was not 100%. I'll try to keep my mouth shut. In all due fairness, Muhammad, I have had a few shots of Patron. So, on my behalf, I apologize to you if I threw you under the bus. How's that router?
But yeah, we're not supposed to talk about the Israel thing because Ron said if I tell him, like, yeah, that Israel is just a terrorist state. He said that the Mossad will come get me. He's probably right.
Don't stand up for the Jews. The Nazis will come for you.
He knows he's probably been confused with other Muhammads before.
Yeah,
so there's a whole shitload of them.
Yeah, like I said, man, I apologize if it made it seem like I was jumped to snap judgment. All I remember is that right after I got kicked out of the group, it said Muhammad has kicked you from the group, and I was like, surprise, surprise.
Probably Muhammad Yunus or something like that. That guy went real squirrel real fast. I used to have a lot of respect for Muhammad Yunus. He used to be like the lone Dawaist in a Christian group. And then he turned into a little squirrel. I don't know how he did that, being a Muhammad and with Christians and atheists, be the only Muhammad, let alone the only Dawa guy, right? And he was able to deal with that, right? And there's obviously, you can only imagine what that's like. It's like me showing up at a Black Panther party, like, hey guys.
Hey man, the new Black Panthers are
Black Panther cake, drinking all their beer. Like, hey guys.
Oh, they'll let you in if you bring a couple white girls.
They'll let me drink the whole beer keg.
Oh yeah, dude, they'll let you hang with them and everything. You just got to bring the girls. And they have to be white, obviously. Haven't you ever seen Forrest Gump? Come on now.
No, I wanna. This is a question. Baby, is that why the hair? Is that why the hair stands up to gravity like pubic hair? Because they're always thinking about sex. Oh, no fear. His internet doesn't hear that.
Ribbit, your mic is off. I don't know if you know that. You probably do. All right, cool.
It's so disgusting to see people making fun of people with diseases.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a disease. I think his hair is just natural, like genetic.
No,
You hear me now?
No. He's talking about. He probably came into the group chat when I was talking about I have degenerative spine disease, and the fact that they gave me the name spinal pirate based off of my spine disease. Agreed, Muhammad, and that's part of the problem with liberals nowadays that I feel. Most liberals, not all liberals, but a lot of them, is that they're the first ones to condemn being rude or condescending to people with ailments, or whether they're gay or women or any sort of minority. They're the first people to start screeching if there's any sort of joke made about a minority or any of that. But they're the first people to attack you for your looks, for any ailments that you might be experiencing, and that's kind of used against you to kind of twist into your side. But that's all fun and games to me. I'm just here for a short time, dude. So I'm not trying to get off super serious with it. I thought it was hilarious. You kind of lose the argument on being the humanitarian when you start making fun of people for their spine diseases.
Facts.
Especially for people like me who grew up in the hospitals. You know what I mean? And like it was a thing. It was bad. It was a bad thing, but because of science and because of amazing spine surgeons, I have my life back. So it's all right.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can, Ray-Bay.
Okay.
The man is online.
Finally, yeah. Shit. Fucking Wi-Fi took a little minute to come back on. Well, it didn't come back on my phone, but I was trying to hop back on there through there.
Taylor,
my phone was like, nah.
Was young Muhammad trying to get into the chat? Because he seems very interesting.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, young Muhammad's already in the stream chat.
No, I mean, I'm sorry. Was he trying to get on? Hey, but fair enough. I consider myself a liberal still to this day. So you know what? When you're right, Muhammad. Very fair point. That's a very good point. Agreed. I stand corrected.
Anybody can have
Let me get the video back up.
We're about to have a video. All right, Muhammad says. Maybe look.
Yeah, he does.
He's the
yes,
Black
he
Neil.
does. What was I saying last time, dude? I was like, dude, you fucking slay it with those fucking shades, dog. I agree.
I am the one.
I like
Ray-Bay
Muhammad.
cannot
Dude.
get
This
away
dude's
from his
dope.
blackness. Save his life.
I like Muhammad, dude. I like this guy.
All right, I got the video back up. Seems like everything's running smoothly and copacetic. Yep. Everything's all right. Cool. I had to reset my box, so let's see here. Let me get this joint shared. Boop, boop. Share audio. Don't want to be like this one guy I know.
All right, while you're pulling that up, I am going to grab my girl's booty while she's in the shower really quick. Give me like 10 seconds.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
It's a thing.
This guy's playing grab ass and shit. All right, Tay-Tard, I got it back up.
Let's see it.
Man.
All right, we're gonna go over this Christian shit show.
All right, after a long wait, you want to wait until Kevin comes back?
Hey, I'm right here, man. I'm right here. It was quick.
All right.
Translations was the idea that Jesus was born of a virgin, because the actual word meant unmarried maiden. And so another several prophecies, Isaiah 7 that was.
Don't worry, that's Aron.
He needed to freeze after the virgin comment.
Matthew, whoever wrote Matthew obviously hadn't paid much attention when he wrote Isaiah, because he messed that completely up.
No, he didn't. You know why you're wrong?
I know why I'm right.
Tell us why
The
he's wrong.
Septuagint translates that Hebrew word as virgin in the Greek. So obviously, Aron, you're wrong. Just
Well,
go back to
obviously,
Isaiah
I'm right.
7:14.
Obviously, I'm
The
right, because if you
Septuagint, which was the Greek translation of the Hebrew Old Testament, translates that word, which you're right, it could be
My
virgin,
penis
it
is
also
bigger.
could be
Am I?
young maiden. The Septuagint translates that as virgin in Greek.
then
So
the
for you to
Septuagint
say,
is
no,
wrong
it's
and
just-
I'm right, because we have to
Okay,
go back
fine.
to
All
the
right,
story.
fine.
We have to
Well,
go back to the
that's
story.
interesting.
Excuse me,
Oh, no.
I'm
The
speaking.
Septuagint. Yeah, I know
It
you're.
went off the rails.
TJump and Stewart are like, all right, yeah, the dads are fighting right now.
Yeah, look at Coons. Look at him. He's like, uh-oh. Should I jump in? Should I jump in?
His whole face. His whole face is just like, man, bruh. Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to say something here soon, guys. I might have to say something.
Yeah, you're the moderator, duh. Do something. Do something.
Anyway, he's considering a lot right now.
Why you're wrong? You want me to tell you why you're wrong and I'm right? Yeah, tell me why I'm wrong and you're right. I'll tell you why you're wrong. The dude's like, uh-oh.
I'll tell you why you're wrong. You're right.
He's satisfied. He's loving it.
Yeah, right.
It says you people have to react to Ahmed Sabur and Aron Ra. Ahmed Sabur made a ramen soup out of him. Whoa!
Oh! No.
Uh-oh!
Oh, what?
We're gonna have to see about that.
Okay.
Right? Hold on, Muhammad.
Yeah,
Muhammad. I mean, I appreciate the compliment.
Throw the link to that debate. Throw the link to that debate on Muhammad. We're gonna have to see about that.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. We'll take a look at it. We'll take a look at it. You want me to tell you why you're wrong, Muhammad? Huh? Just kidding.
Because I'll tell you why I'm right.
I'm speaking.
Excuse me. We were reading about from Isaiah, right? So Isaiah tells a prophecy about another.
Let's give Aron a chance to respond, and then maybe what we'll do
my
is
daddy.
Intervals. So we'll
that's my
take a minute or two
papa.
I would rather do the open conversation, but I just have to interject this. So Isaiah is talking about a prophecy that he's giving to this other king, in which he says that a maiden is pregnant with a child, and that when that child is old enough to choose honey over curds, then you'll know that your enemies are no threat to you. So we're not talking about Jesus. We're not talking about a magical baby. We're not talking about a baby born of a virgin. We're talking about some kid who lived and died 700 years before Jesus. And then when it turned out the maid wasn't pregnant, Isaiah had to go impregnate her himself. And then he named the kid the wrong thing, screwing up his own prophecy. So we know that whoever wrote Matthew didn't pay attention when they read Isaiah, because that prophecy does not talk about Jesus and did not talk about a virgin, because how could she be a virgin if Isaiah impregnated her? So the assessment is wrong, and I'm right.
Look at I'm gonna take a hit he took a 3 beat. He said 1, 2, fuck. 3.
Yeah, count that down again.
I have to say something.
Let's do that shit again. That was the best.
Right.
That was bad though.
One of your main points was
is wrong, and I'm right, because we have to go back to the story. Right. We have to go back to the story. Excuse me, I'm speaking. Yeah, we were reading about from Isaiah, right? So Isaiah tells a prophecy about another.
Let's give Aron a chance to respond, and then maybe what we'll do is 2-minute intervals. So we'll take a minute or two for Aron.
I would rather do the open conversation, but I just have to interject this. So Isaiah is talking about a prophecy that he's giving to this other king, in which he says that a maiden is pregnant with a child. And when that child is old enough to choose honey over curds, then you'll know that your enemies are no threat to you. So we're not talking about Jesus. We're not talking about a magical baby. We're not talking about a baby born of a virgin. We're talking about some kid who lived and died 700 years before Jesus. And then when it turned out the maid wasn't pregnant, Isaiah had to go impregnate her himself. And then he named the kid the wrong thing, screwing up his own prophecy. So we know that whoever wrote Matthew didn't pay attention when they read Isaiah, because that prophecy does not talk about Jesus and did not talk about a virgin, because how could she be a virgin if Isaiah impregnated her? So the Septuagint is wrong, and I'm right.
1, 2, 3. Fuck, I have to say something.
One of your main points.
He had to take a sip.
Muhammad, I was just joking, dude. When I said I'm right, I was just making fun of these guys because they're acting like fucking mamby-pambies, dude. Both of them. Yeah, I wasn't trying to say anything towards you, man. It is circular reasoning. That's why it's funny.
Was unless you can empirically prove something, it's not true. You leaned heavily on empiricism, but
Is he
TJump,
saying
the
that?
whole statement,
Is the
unless you
Christian
can
saying that?
empirically prove something,
Unless you
it's
can
not
prove
true.
something, it isn't
You
true.
can't empirically prove that statement.
Yeah, we can.
That
This is going
statement
off
is
the
a belief. No, that's a belief.
No, this is going
You
off the null
cannot-
hypothesis.
You
where
cannot
unsupported
empirically
assertions-
prove that God does not exist. I cannot empirically prove that God does exist. Why?
Empty assertions
Because
are
the
not
question
considered valid.
of God is not a
Look at you, John.
scientific question.
Empty
There is
assertions
no
Jump
are
in,
way
not
to
buddy.
considered valid.
empirically prove that a miracle is a
Joe is ready to pop.
Because a scientist would have to
Yeah.
assume.
Stop, dude.
He is ready
He's
to
losing it. Look at
explode.
Dude, that's
He
a
is
freak
like,
frame,
what
dude.
the fuck, man? It's
He
like,
should
come
just
on,
jump
man.
in. He needs to just jump in. He needs to kind of have Ross sit back down for a couple seconds.
He's like, no, Ron and I already had this conversation. He said he's going to be the firecracker and I'm going to be the fuse. That's exactly how it's going to be.
Yeah, but Ross getting a little too emotional. That's when TJump needs to bring it back in and play the cool. Right?
Yeah.
I feel like, Ray-Bay, you would be the cool aspect. If we were a duo, you'd be the fucking cool one. Nice and smooth. And I'd be the one that'd be like, blah, 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 and you have to like reel me in, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Kev,
Like, nah,
Kev,
nah.
relax, bro. Let me do this real quick.
Exactly.
Let me hit them with some knowledge.
Exactly.
First and foremost, this is why I'm right and you are wrong.
It was funny because I described that exact relationship to my girlfriend last night. I was like, Ray-Bay's so smooth. He's smooth.
I wish.
You
I wish I
are.
was-
You're smooth, dog. You're smooth. You're smooth. You are. Trust me.
Thank you.
You
Thank
got it.
I'm a bit of a firecracker myself. You should see when I go back and forth with Justin on socioeconomic issues and whatnot. He's
I'm a
just like,
rabid
you know,
ferret. All right. So
No matter what, that no
It's
natural
just always
cause had
like
been
voodoo.
discovered yet to cause what you and I can call a miracle.
No. So I didn't say anything about empiricism at all. I
There
never
he is.
said that in my opening. I said you need a way to differentiate imagination from reality. That's empirical verification is a good way to do that, but it's not necessarily the only way. If you want to provide a different way, that's perfectly fine.
And
But I
as
never said empiricism ever in the thing. And you can definitely verify miracles and magic and supernatural. Those are perfectly easy to verify. For example, if I say, I believe God or the spaghetti monster exists, and if I pray to the spaghetti monster, he'll generate a gold brick in front of me, and it happens repeatedly over and overly and testably, that would be good evidence of the spaghetti monster. The fact that there are other explanations that could explain that doesn't mean anything. What matters is whichever one makes the novel testable predictions that are confirmed first is the best hypothesis. So you can definitely verify the supernatural if you make novel testable predictions.
I don't think Cliff
Again, I
understands
never
what
said
he's
anything about
saying.
empiricism.
And as I
So the
said,
whole point of a miracle is when a Christian says, I believe in miracles, they're saying, I believe in natural law. And usually a miracle does
You
not
were so
occur.
mad.
The reason it's called a miracle is because it does not naturally occur.
One thing.
If you-
Yeah.
I think just before Tom responds, I want to. I'll let you finish, Cliff. Sorry to cut you off.
problem.
What we'll do as well as I know that Aron also had a point that he wanted to mention, going back to your earlier point, Cliff. But Cliff, if you want to, we'll give you a chance to finish this, and then at some point, I just want to be sure that Aron doesn't get kind of left behind because I know that Tom's going to want to rebut as well.
They done forgot all about Stewart.
You know,
the null hypothesis.
Like, fuck you, Stewart.
If it can't be indicated, verified, or falsified, if it can't be quantified or qualified, then it has no value at all. So we don't even have to disprove it. It simply doesn't.
What did I
warrant
say,
serious
Stewart?
consideration. You have to show me that there's a there there.
What
You
does
understand
mommy
what I
say?
mean? In other words, like Hitchens' razor. What is asserted without evidence can be dismissed without evidence.
my whole point in my opening comment was there are different types of evidence. And that's what I'm trying to communicate to you guys.
What
There
kind
are
of evidence
different
would you be
types.
talking about now?
As I was saying, there are different types of evidence. There is scientific evidence, which is based on the repeatability of an experiment. There is historical evidence that has nothing to do with repeatability. You do not repeat World War II. You do
Granted.
not repeat the Civil War.
I grant the
Historical
difference
knowledge
between.
has nothing to do with repeatability, with verifying it in a lab or
I-
having it repeated in an experiment.
I
It's
grant the
impossible.
difference
So
between historical evidence and scientific evidence.
there is also experiential evidence. I have a memory of yesterday, what I did yesterday. I cannot.
Sorry, but subjective.
I cannot prove to you that my memory of yesterday is accurate. But I can examine myself, examine my memory, and come to the conclusion that indeed this did happen yesterday.
I think
You can come to that
But that's
conclusion.
all.
But if you
That's
can't
all.
demonstrate
That's
it
all
at all,
anecdotal.
We didn't
get
It's
to
all
I think
anecdotal.
the last thing you said, Aron, we didn't get to hear it because I think the internet chopped, and so when it cut back to, I think we missed maybe the last.
James has a thing for
I
Aron,
don't
man.
remember what the last thing was. I mean,
No
He has a
problem.
thing for him, huh?
So I don't know.
He keeps talking to Aron,
Well,
giving
to
him more
address your
time, and wanting
historical
to
evidence thing,
say something.
as I mentioned in my opening, no one in history, the consensus is that testimony does not work for miracles, magic, mythical creatures. For anything that has no empirical basis, testimony is just garbage. It doesn't matter how much testimony you have. We have thousands of eyewitnesses of Bigfoot, tens of thousands of Loch Ness Monster, hundreds of thousands of different kinds of ghosts and spirituals, millions of homeopathy. There's tens of millions of certain kinds of like Hindu miracles. Like,
That's a good
testimony
point.
is not
TJump.
evidence of
There you go. Go there. Go there.
the supernatural or UFOs, which is the case not only in history but also in courtrooms. Courtrooms throw out any cases that these things are brought up in as the cause of anything. Testimony is not accepted as evidence for any of those things because you need to demonstrate they actually exist in the world with something like empirical evidence before the testimony is credible. Like I mentioned, the conceptual evidence of testimony, which is the same whether it's your personal eyewitness testimony or testimony of someone from history, is not evidence of anything existing until it's actually been demonstrated to exist in the first place.
So
He
you're
uses
okay,
extra
based
words
off
to
this
confuse
point,
these
though,
guys,
in
man.
terms of
Because
your naturalistic philosophy.
I really feel like I don't think TJump was reading his opening statement.
no, I don't think so either.
The way
Like I think it was my second theory. I think that he was watching porn while he was spouting it off. I think he is Rain Man.
Yeah, yeah, he's got to be. He's like
Rain Man.
he's on some next level shit with these statements and questions and what have you. And this is, man, I think what it is, like, yeah, he may have written it down and he might have memorized it, but I don't think he was reading it off of anything.
No, agreed. I will agree with that. But I also do think that he's cooling off Aron a lot. I think that's a good thing. I think that when Aron starts getting a little too sensitive and a little bit too, and then all the Christians get really close to the camera because they're mad, and then they're all mad, cutting each other off. I think TJump is a really good. I said earlier that I don't think that his delivery was very good. I don't think that his delivery was very good if he was just by himself. But I think that he gets a 10 just based on him being a partner with Aron, and they kind of complement themselves, like, you know what I mean? Like complementary colors on the color wheel. Like they really, really help each other out. And I think that Ra needs a chance to calm down a little bit and kind of refocus his energy, because he's really good, but you can tell when he starts doing that hand gesture, you know what I mean? Kind of like in the hood, you know what I mean? You know when a hood chick starts going off on you and stuff, dude?
Right.
You know, dude. He kind of has a little bit of hood in him. I'll tell you what.
Good play, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out for him.
You're still going to say that God could never have punched a hole
Did you
through
just bring a
space and
dodgeball
time.
reference?
His son,
Yeah.
being born here, could have gone about not only creating miracles like the feeding of the 5,000. I mean, back to the scripture, the reliability of the Gospels. How could the feeding of the 5,000,
Have my babies, Ray.
if there were that many people around who were non-believers, how could that ever have gotten off the ground?
That's an excellent point. I'm glad you brought that one up, because if you noticed that when you have that exact same story occur twice with the same people in attendance both times, and they're equally amazed both times, it's not like you didn't just see Jesus do this already 2 chapters ago. He's doing it again. So what? I mean, it's the same thing he did before, but they're completely amazed about it, because this is the way these stories made by storytellers are appropriated. They're taken from other people and they're put together. Sometimes they're put in twice.
So in the Christian tradition, those are 2 separate happenings.
Yes,
So
the
they're 2
historical
separate
consensus.
cases.
The
Yeah, go
historical consensus is that it's fake. It didn't happen at all. It's just a made-up story written down by people who didn't. It didn't happen.
But what about oral tradition and oral testimony? Does it have
Oral.
as much weight today as it
Say
did back
oral
then?
again, Stuart.
If somebody tells me that
Thanky
and
as
I've had
fuck.
people tell me this, that they've encountered demons and stuff like that, that their testimony has absolutely no bearing whatsoever. We need something. I mean, if you had something where it was realistically
Myler,
possible, at least,
later, for sure.
then eyewitness testimony would be the least reliable form of evidence. But in this case, it's not a form of evidence. You need something more. In worlds where magic exists, there are people who can demonstrate that. Obi-Wan, Gandalf, Spock, and Hermione will be able to demonstrate that they can do what they think they can do.
Look at Stuart. Look. Look at Stuart's face.
Yo. TJump. Yo, that's my whole fucking. That was my whole reaction. Yo, I'm sitting here playing Destiny 2 yesterday, listening to this shit, and that was my reaction right there. And I looked over and I was like, yeah.
So zoom in. Zoom in more.
I can't zoom in any further than that. I wish I could. Oh man. Stuart enjoyed that also.
Yeah, he did.
What a Papa Smurf thing enjoy that shit? No. Papa Smurf doesn't seem amused.
Now, Muhammad, I'll respond to the, you haven't tested anything as far as like Darwinism and evolution in a lab. Now, once again, this is probably anecdotal, but you don't have to test anything in a lab to see evidence of evolution. For instance, my one baby, it's like a ridiculous small wisdom tooth is coming in. When I have my x-rays, I only have one teeny tiny, ridiculous small wisdom tooth, and it's coming in at an angle. And then I have another full-size one here. So I only have 2 wisdom teeth in my entire face. Okay? The reason why I only have 2 is for the same reason why this one wisdom tooth is hurting. Evolution slowly gets rid of things that it doesn't need or want to survive. Okay? One of the biggest killers of humans back in the past were dental problems. We had really, really bad dental problems. That's how most humans in history actually died, is that their face pretty much rot off. So you can, most of the time it started happening when their wisdom teeth started coming in, because it would jumble everything forward and it would rip open their gums and it would expose their gum line to all the meat that they were eating and all the random things. And everything would get infected from there, and they would get pustules and their face would rot off. And then their bones on their jaw would get completely infected, sometimes even full of cancer. So you don't have to really test anything in a lab to see something happening in real time as it's happening. So evolution, the fact that I have one itty baby wisdom tooth and one full-size one, but the other 2 are completely vacant, isn't because I was born with some sort of deformity. It's because as time goes on, we get rid of things and we shed things that we just don't need. Just like a lot of animals that you'll find in natural history museums on the line of succession with other animals that predate them and then come after them. So you can actually line everything up. And if you've never had an experience of going behind the scenes and actually looking at some of the natural history museum specimens, I would highly recommend you finding a friend that's an archaeologist to do that. And yeah. Oh, he says that he's not arguing against a Darwinism. Maybe I misunderstood, but there's some anecdotal evolution evidence there for you. How's that? I keep getting it wrong with you, Muhammad. I think that we just need to talk. I think that's what it is, man.
We should have Muhammad on one of these days.
We honestly should. He's an interesting character, and he's smart, and he's giving decent references that I will most certainly check out.
On the wisdom tooth thing, I only have 2 wisdom teeth in my face. Little itty baby one right over here, and a big one over here. And my last wisdom tooth, my first wisdom tooth actually got pulled out a year ago. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, see, that's evolution in its thing. But the dentist even told me, he's like, as time goes on, we're seeing more and more of this. That some people won't have any, some people will only have 1, some people have 2. You know, like it's something that in our lifetime, that even from the 70s, that they've been documenting, that wisdom teeth are slowly disappearing. Aw, Daz, I'm enjoying that little profile picture of you, buddy.
All right, let's see here.
Couldn't explain it. We can prove that it happened. We can prove that Spock did the mind meld thing. There's no other way that could have worked. We don't know how he did it, but he did it reliably every time in a lab. He's able to do it. So that's real. But the sad thing is with Christianity, with faith healing, with any kind of supernatural anything, no kind of variability at all. It's completely indistinguishable from the imaginary because that's what it is.
Indistinguishable.
My experience of reality is that love is the most important thing and experience.
Once again, when you say my experience,
it's not
that's
empirical.
So
it's not based on empiricism. It's not based
prove
on science.
truth,
It's not based on molecules.
Yes, it is.
Based on a free decision to care for somebody.
No, it isn't.
That love that I experience is powerful. That love shows me that there is an immaterial reality that cannot be measured in the bottom of a test tube or by a ruler.
Because it isn't real.
And that love is very real. And that love shows me that there is more to reality than just neurons and microbes.
No, there is
jumping
to an assumption.
A free autonomous being who can choose to freely love. Now, when I experience that, what that shows me is
okay. So what
Cliff
Cliff is saying actually makes a little bit of point.
There's a transcendent.
You know what I mean? There's something more to reality, right? He has this feeling that there's something more to reality. Then why not explore that instead of jumping in with, if you don't get on your knees, then you're going to die and burn for all eternity and be tortured in a fucking realm of fire. You know what I'm saying? So like, we all have something innate inside of us that thinks that maybe this reality is some sort of weird thing, and maybe this isn't all that it is. A lot of us have something innate inside of us where it's like, is this a dream? Are we in a simulation? Is there something odd behind this? Is this a dream? So I get that, but it's a real big hop and a skip to go from I feel something inside that there's something more than this to there's a city in heaven that has walls and it has a size, and that if you don't do this, only a certain percentage of people are going to get in, and 95% of all creations ever created and that lived on the face of the planet are going to burn for all eternity, torture, and hell. Right. So, I mean, it's a big hop and a skip. So I get what he's saying, but that's a big fucking gap that you kind of jump, a big leap of faith that you go from 0 to 100 pretty quick without any real proof. I know what he's talking about though. I get it, but then it's that end game, and then that's when the end game doesn't make very much sense. Sorry.
Yeah, because nobody knows what happens at the end.
Nobody does.
Being. Now, science has nothing to say whether there's a transcendent being or not. Science deals with a natural phenomenon, that which is observable, that which is measurable. You can't measure love. You can't measure God, because God is an immaterial being who is the creator, who is transcendent, who is above and outside of the universe. It's similar to when you read a book, although you can begin to learn something about the author, the book should point you to the author and should point you to a rational mind who wrote this excellent book. Similarly, when I experience love, when I experience order and design, although that's not God, pantheism is not the way we go. Instead, it points us to a lover, an intelligent mind, some type of God. And then when you've got Jesus Christ claiming to be God in human form,
he's going from 0 to 100.
Is buried and rises from the dead. The evidence is you can trust him to reveal God accurately.
Except that he never said that. And nothing you just said is true. I mean, well, there's some caveats here. Love does exist, yeah, but it's not a choice. Who we love and what we love is not our choice. It's just something that happens to us. Or this is just a result of our chemistry, for example. It is because of our evolution as a social animal that we have a natural compassion for our family, friends, and fellows. It is measurable. It is chemical. It is entirely material. And I'm sorry that you leapt to completely unfounded conclusion for no damned reason with no.
See what I'm talking about? See, he said the same thing, dude. He's leaping, dude. He's making a huge fucking leap.
What about your life?
My life is proof that love is real. I don't have to love my enemy. In fact,
we're not contesting that love is real.
And then you and I agree. Other times.
You and I agree that love is real. We do not agree that it means that there are magical pixies pushing up the daisies.
That's not what I said. So what's the point of love?
There is no point of love. What's
the point of evolution, though? You brought up evolution and love. What's the whole point?
It's just to propagate our genes, or what's the point?
Oh, Stuart, I forgot you were part of this debate. Holy shit!
When we lost
Propagate,
bro.
and we didn't
But
yet
see,
have
that's why
large
I
brains.
can't be. That's why
The
I
only thing that we
personally couldn't
did
be on these
have
things
that gave us
is I'd
the
be
edge over
like,
the other
"Hey,
animals was that
but
we cared so much
to
about
lay
each other.
down that
When
pipe."
other
That
herd
makes you guys
animals,
so
for example,
uncomfortable,
would be running
You
from
can't let me
predators,
on with
and
this,
the weak or the slower the babies would be taken by those predators. Very rarely do those herd animals come back to save their kin. But we did. We came back to protect the weak. We came back to protect our elderly with the whole tribe throwing stones and using clubs and stuff against one panther. What's he going to do? Right? I mean, he can't face off all of us. So this is what gave us strength. Our humanity is based in our socialization. And this compassion isn't just for other people. It can extend to other species as well. But it is measurable, and it is material, and it does not imply in all any magic imaginary friend.
So here's
Love
selfish
is measurable.
altruism.
I promise you.
That's what I got
After
for a
somebody feels
lot of what you just
relationships and
said.
being in something
And
that's so
truly
successful,
depressing
I
to
can
me.
promise you, I can.
Because Christ says,
How
go
could
ahead and
something that is
reach out to
inspiring
not
to
only
me-
your neighbor, but your enemy also, not because it benefits you in any kind of way, because it benefits them.
How
That
could
is a way
something that
better
is so-
ethic for our society today than selfish altruism based off of that type of worldview you just stated.
How could something that is so inspirational to me be depressing to you?
Because it means nothing ultimately.
Right.
It's very simple. If it is true that you and I were produced by and will eventually be annihilated by mindless, meaningless forces, then all your altruism is a jump into fantasy land.
So what you're telling me is that you have to reject science. We have to reject things that we know to be true.
False. I never said that once.
Well, you're saying that we can't be a product of evolution, right?
I never said that once. I said, if it is true that you were produced by and you will ultimately be annihilated by mindless, meaningless forces,
which is obviously the fact,
then despair is the only logical conclusion.
No, it's not remotely logical. Your worldview is morose. I've never
yours is,
understand
not
why
mine.
Christians come
I'm
up with this.
convinced that you were not produced by mindless, meaningless forces, and I'm convinced that you don't have to be annihilated. I'm convinced that there's real life now. And
Mohammed, quick question, because I don't want to get this
I'm
wrong.
sorry
Maybe
that
I'm
you are
just,
convinced of things that are definitely not true. I'm sorry that you're,
or maybe I'm misassigning some of your
more
things
so.
that you're saying.
That's just as rude as if I keep on saying to you,
I'm
oh,
sorry,
just-
you're
Are
wrong.
you, do you believe that the world is flat? Because your Muhammad's comment is true. The belief that the world is a sphere for most of us is not based on mathematics or science. It is purely centered on testimony. I will agree with that 100%. For most people, because they don't really think too much about it. For me, it's easy to see that it's based off of mathematics and science because of how the stars align at night, how the sun hits at a certain point during the summer, and it has the long days, and then at certain points in the winter, the sun wanes towards the hills, and it has really short days. And for me, it only makes sense that it would be based off of math and science because each year, as everything rotates, you see the same thing happen on a certain cycle. That's how our ancestors, who were probably a lot more smart than the modern person nowadays, figured that out because that's how they knew when they needed a plant. Plants. I would basically say that your statement is 100% correct, that most people is based on testimony. But I would say that people even further in the past, it was actually based on mathematics and science. Not too far in the past, because then they didn't even know that we rotated around the sun. But somewhere in that little Goldilocks zone, it would make sense that they did base it off mathematics and science, because then that's how they would know the certain time of year to plant a certain thing, when the sun was going to rise, when the sun was going to set. And that even goes back to pagan times, right? When they celebrate what would be Christmas nowadays that Constantine had enacted, that was because the sun was setting to a point to where they knew that it wasn't going to come back. And then during the springtime, a lot of that has to do with religion or Christianity kind of using Jesus as the sun rising again, because that's the time of year where the sun stops hanging on the hills and the days are short. The sun literally starts to rise from the dead again, and that's when things grow, and that's when life springs forth. And that's a lot of what the sun rose again. The Son of God rose again. It goes back to pagan times. It goes back to Celtic times, and it's all borrowed off of each other. So I agree with your statement, because people are just fucking morons and they can't get out of their phones or their daily lives or their music or their TV long enough to quite understand how everything functions. They just kind of take it on their word. But I would say that people 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 300 years ago definitely based this off mathematics and science. Sorry, long rant, but
that was a very long ass rant.
Sorry, man.
No, you good. You Gucci.
It's that flat Earth shit, dude. I'm telling. What did I say earlier, dude? It's that flat Earth.
I tell you, man.
Dude.
We need to get a flat earther up in here and shit.
Oh no.
Some wily-eyed flat earther and whatnot. Saunders. James Saunders, he's a whole fucking flat earther.
No, I think he trolls it, dude. There's no way.
I think so also.
I think he honestly trolls it, dude. I really do.
I'm like, dude, you're fucking trolling. There's no way. You're too fucking smart.
I honestly think he's trolling it, dude. I really
fucking
do.
Flat. Shoot. Taylor, where are you?
Where'd this guy go?
Taylor.
Roll it.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll it. It's let's see here. I think yeah.
We're hitting almost 2 hours.
Period.
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
What's the evidence?
just wrong.
Yeah, we're gonna because I think this part. Let me see.
Your personal experience is better than the scientific
Damn, how long was
evidence
this
from
bit?
all of the different fields.
No,
this is
I'm
good right
saying
here.
I don't agree with the
Look, he's
belief
mad. This is good.
that science is the only arbiter of truth.
Oh yeah, his hair is going
I'm
wild.
saying you have experience, TJump, not just me.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
if you look at your experience honestly, you'll have to admit I have different instincts that pull me in different directions.
Hold on, let me see something.
Meaningless forces.
Oh man, I
Then
feel bad
all-
for Cliff's wife.
Yeah, just-
dude.
That's who you're
I
fighting
do.
against.
I can just quote the Buddhist saints. To develop love, saints have stressed forming a close personal relationship with Krishna through Brahma. Yes, you can develop a close personal
Yes,
relationship.
and it
with
depends.
your
When
God.
you say you go to a Hindu temple and
Sir,
they do
read the
something
teaching
different,
of Buddha. Buddha never once talked about God. He was agnostic.
Yes, he
Siddhartha
did.
Gautama Buddha was agnostic. Read the teachings of Buddha. Buddha did
did.
not talk about God once.
yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did, because he said whether the gods exist or not is irrelevant.
Well, okay, fine.
So he
Right.
did talk about God.
He never talked about God being real.
Yeah.
We could have a relationship with.
I'll
He
have
was
to write the
talking
balls
about
with that one.
Remember what I said earlier about Jesus having the legends of John the Baptist appropriated onto Jesus, so that John the Baptist now, in a sense, has to baptize Jesus to tell his followers that now you will follow Jesus instead, and how the Muslims then appropriated Jesus too, so that people want to come, pilgrims come to Islam. Jesus has to refer them to Muhammad. You aware of this?
No, Jesus referring them to
Nah.
Muhammad.
Yes,
Man.
because Jesus still exists in Islam. He never died.
Heaven,
He-
right?
No, on earth.
Dude,
No,
it's
Jesus is
official.
not on earth
Stuart
according to the
Cliff
Quran.
In
gets
Islam.
fucked while
And
they're
just
trying to
said.
watch.
the Quran,
That's
which
what's
is what
happening right
Islam
now
is
anyway.
based on, Jesus is not on earth. He
He's getting
ascended to heaven.
railed.
Jesus
The
is still on
honest
earth.
Quran.
He was never crucified. He's
That's
still
right.
alive.
Never crucified. He ascended to heaven, Aaron. You're right. He wasn't crucified because God
And
was
he
never
went about,
allowed
he
to
lived in a
good
house
prophet.
on earth for many
ascended to
centuries
heaven.
after his death, where he would go out every day and still heal people. So when pilgrims, specifically from Zoroastrian faith, would come seeking the truth of God, they would come to Jesus because they were told that Jesus was great.
Mm. Cricket.
He got frozen
Cricket.
again, James.
Stuart's like, say something.
he froze and made a point, and it was
Yeah.
I
like,
think you were saying
Yeah,
Jesus.
please
when it
say
comes
something.
back.
That's
out on you,
the
Aron.
sound in his head right now.
In
Dad,
some of the
please-
folklore,
Right.
Please,
people,
please say something.
I'm getting a note that the internet is unstable, which is a weird thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, there are pilgrims that they'll tell.
Sorry,
us
great one.
they come
I know those
seek the truth of
feelings.
God. They would go to Jesus,
Yes, you
who
do.
never died in Islam, never was crucified, and continued to live on earth. And he would go out and heal people every day. And so he would meet these pilgrims, and they would say, well, we're seeking the truth of God. And Jesus says, well, I'm not the final prophet. You need to see Muhammad. So Jesus still alive, still on earth in the time of Muhammad.
Oh, during the time of Muhammad? Okay, well, that's not what the Quran teaches, but go ahead and say it. The Quran teaches he ascended to heaven and he's not here. Okay? That's what. Now, of course, we can talk about spin-offs from Islam and spin-offs from Christianity, but when I deal with Muhammad, I got to be true to the Quran. The same way when I deal with Jesus Christ, I got to be true to the Gospels.
So we were talking about Hinduism.
Crucified in the Quran, instead he ascended to heaven.
So we were talking about Hinduism.
Insist Jesus did get crucified. He was buried and then he rose from the dead.
So we were talking about Hinduism, and I specifically was talking about members of the Bhakti faith and what they claim. And then you guys went to a Hindu temple, which I'm guessing was not Bhakti. I'm guessing maybe it was Vaishnavites or Brahmin. I don't know. But when you say that you went to a Hindu temple and it was different than what this other group is, well, how do you know that you didn't go to the Hindu version of the Pentecostals versus the Seventh-day Adventists? You know, there are differences.
Yeah,
Adventists.
Denomination, yeah. You read the Vedas and Upanishads. You don't let a Hindu tell you what Hinduism is. You go to the source document.
There we go.
You don't let the believer. You don't let the believer
Don't let
say.
a Christian tell you
Don't
what
let
Christ
a-
is.
Hold on,
Very
hold on,
careful.
hold on.
And don't
I
let a
just-
Muslim
I have to say
terrorist
something
tell you
about
what
this.
Islam is.
My
Go to the
family was
Quran and
Mormon.
learn about Islam.
Talk to an Amish Christian.
Well,
You're gonna talk to a
I gotta
Christian.
say, I was raised by a Mormon family, and I thought it was really interesting. I never identified as Mormon, but people would ask me, "What is your religion?" I would say, "Well, my family is Mormon," and then they would start telling me what Mormons believe, as if I wouldn't know if I were Mormon what I believe. Right? So I got to see the Christian bigotry about Baptists telling me what Mormons believe. When I would invite them in, hey, you want to come tell my mother that she believes these things? They wouldn't, because they know she doesn't believe those things. You know, if you want to know what a Mormon believes, probably you ought to ask a Mormon. Don't ask a Baptist. They don't know shit.
All right. Jesus Christ loves you, not because I
No,
say
he doesn't,
so.
because he
Jesus
isn't real.
Christ loves you because he said he loves you.
Jesus
It's not
Christ
because of what I
doesn't
say. It's what
exist.
Jesus said.
Jesus
And when
doesn't
I
exist.
investigate Muhammad, I'm going to have the intellectual honesty and open-mindedness to read the source document, the Quran. I don't learn about Muhammad from some terrorist who flies a jet into the World Trade Center.
You think I
and I don't learn about Hinduism.
You think I learned about Muhammad
from some
from a
Hindu
terrorist?
perverts Hinduism. I go to the Vedas and Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita and I learn about Hinduism. It's that simple.
And that's what I did. So
Good.
you somehow got the weird ass impression that I learned Quran from a terrorist?
No, that was not my point, Aron. Come on.
Well,
sir.
your point is you're full of shit. That's what your point
All
is.
right, okay.
I'm reading the Quran,
Jesus
and I-
still
and I'm
loves you,
absorbing
Aron,
spiritual
okay?
folklore.
Jesus
also
really
reading-
loves you, and he gave his life for you, bud. And for you to reject him because of some Mormon or Baptist, come on, man. Be
I'm sorry,
open-minded.
your Easter bunny
Read the
isn't real.
Gospels. Find out what Jesus
Hey,
said.
I already read the Gospels. I already saw that Jesus didn't say those things.
Might be
It's
able
a
to
fictional
cover
character.
Maybe one more topic before we go into Q&A. Is there anything that we didn't get to cover that everybody was hoping, or one person was hoping to cover?
Cliff
Cliff
said
is like, nah,
that if
fuck
you
it, let's just
present an
take
alternative
questions.
hypothesis, you're supposed to present
Right,
evidence,
yeah.
other evidence,
I can
and
win in
nobody
that
did
debate.
So
I
we
can
have
win in that.
neurological, cognitive science, all of the experts in all of the fields show that we can demonstrate love as a physical process in the brain, which can be turned off or turned on by electrodes, purely chemical process, nothing
Cliff
more
and
than
Stewart are
that.
like
That seems to be a
kinda
far better
subconscious
hypothesis
battling
supported by
to see
better
who
evidence. The
leans
counter
forward
evidence says, well,
furthest.
his feelings, like his personal experience
It's
of love,
true,
he
dude. They
thinks
are.
is
They're trying
Yeah,
to
look at
exert the
that.
dominance,
non-physical,
dude.
even
There's a
any
power
neurologist
struggle
could
going
go
on
and turn
between
it off
both
and
of
turn it on in
them.
your brain. Somehow his personal experience is
Cliff's
better
chest
evidence
is
than
stuck out. It's
the
like, all right,
evidence of
well, I
all
can
of the
stick my
experts in all
chest
the
out.
fields doing all the
But
research.
all right, so you
Jesus,
see
son.
body language. You see
Again, that
Stewart. See how his arm is placed further forward, so his dad can't exert the dominance. Dude,
Yeah.
I work with violent animals. That's what I specialize in. I specialize in body language, and that's exactly what's happening right now. There's a power dynamic and a power struggle going on between Cliff and Stewart. It's unsaid, but what happened is Cliff wants to take over the power because he's the dad, and Stewart won't let him. Look at his arm. See how far forward his arm is? So no matter what, if Cliff leans forward, Stewart is always further ahead of him. No matter what. He will not let It's almost like he's holding his dad back. Like there's no way that he'll let his dad exert the dominance because he wants the upper power. That's the prince and the king mentality right there. Sorry,
Yeah.
king, you gotta die, man. I gotta take your spot one day. I can't just sit here. Dude, it's subconscious, man. It's biology. That's hierarchies, man. Sorry.
Stewart's like, this is my time to shine, Dad. You need to back the fuck off, man.
Prepare me for.
You got to back off. Just calm down. Just calm down. Sit in the corner real quick. Don't say nothing else fucking stupid, all right? Aron Ra has been handing us our ass and shit, hitting us with those witty ass fucking quotes, dropping mics all over us. TJump's just been sitting over here, puffing up his cheeks, smiling and shit, looking up into the goddamn sky. He hasn't even dropped a damn bar on us all fucking day. He dropped those bars on us in the opening statement. And, Dad, just shut the fuck up. No more preaching. Just shut up.
Dude,
just sit in your corner.
I guarantee it. Muhammad says Ra has no idea what Hinduism is. Indian philosophy is an amalgamation of several ideas, as are all religions. It's all the same telephone. It's all just an amalgamation of several ideas. That's all a precursor, and it was all in the past. That's all led to what it is now. It's all just a telephone.
Exactly. Just like this little debate podcast. It's an amalgamation of different ideas and shit, talking about debates and whatnot. And another thing to talk about, Taylor. Fuck.
Yeah, where's the amalgamation, dude? He's what makes it an amalgamation of different ideas.
This motherfucker just like ghosted us and shit. I swear, man. He just left Muhammad's whole comment just chilling there. Oh God.
Bring Muhammad up. Muhammad, get on here, man. You got some important shit to say. I tell you what. Muhammad, I know you're listening. Are you someone who likes to be in front of the camera? That wouldn't mind being in front of the camera sometime?
Yeah, he's in one of the he's in one of these little chats up in here. Because he was just posting. Yeah.
Well, I think that he would give a nice refreshing
he's in
juxtaposition position to everything.
He's in the OnlyFans, actually.
There's an OnlyFans? What?
Yeah, you're not in it? The OnlyFans? DTF OnlyFans? If you're not in the DTF
I didn't know there was a fucking OnlyFans.
This is where you need to be at, ladies and gentlemen. It's a Facebook Messenger chat group where you can get front row seats to the greatest show on motherfucking earth. DTF OnlyFans. By invitation only. Let me see here. Let me see if I can add you real quick. I didn't know you weren't.
Interesting.
You're not in there? Oh, you're in the stream.
Oh, don't look up my OnlyFans, man. You're gonna get a lot of fucking looks. You're gonna know a lot more about me, dog, than I think that you might want to. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
You just stay off there. Don't put me in no search engine on OnlyFans.
Let's see.
I warned you, dog.
Oh no.
It's on you now. And Muhammad.
Plenty of ass and titties in this group. Just it's going to be divine, Mr. Divine.
Here.
All right, let's see here. Let's get back to this, John, and whatnot, because they are going to jump right into the Q&A after this. The Q&A was pretty much.
Look, Saunders.
Oh yeah, oi, it's the fucking mess. Oi. Former.
Can you add him?
Oh yeah, he's what to the stream?
Yeah.
No, I can't add him. Taylor didn't leave me any. He should have left. He should have left some admin appropriations.
Oh my!
If he's going to step the fuck away like this.
Oh
but you know, well, you know, the guy's got a power. I guess a power. What do you call those? Power. Hunger or whatever the fuck it is. I'm heading to bed. Oh, this is early. You got. All right, old man. It's pretty early for you. No, it's late for you. It's early for me. Shit.
All right, let's wrap this up. Fast forward to like a question or two, and let's
you find meaning in love. You find meaning in beauty. When Aron listens to Led Zeppelin, he finds great meaning in music. It's not just like if you keep thinking about, oh, this is just, you know, if you look at electrodes or you just look at the oxytocin, just look at the dopamine. I mean, that's going to depress you because it's all reductionistic.
Shut up, Stuart. You have no idea fucking deal what the hell you're talking about.
For society, I believe in objective morality, so I think there is a moral law in the universe without a god. So I would go that route.
Okay, so what does that? I mean, how does it explain us going to the other side of the planet though and helping people?
I see what you're saying, Muhammad. I get
convictions
you.
and act in a certain way, just like gravity causes us to move in a certain way.
So do you believe, based off of your worldview, that you have just as high of a motivation
Yes, any
as
philosophy
Christian
is a hub
rationale
of some
for helping
philosophies,
somebody
which,
across the
oppose
entire
each other.
planet?
Yes,
I would say it's
100%.
higher.
agree.
Yeah, I have a higher one
Why?
because
Okay, what? Please.
Sure.
Michael Shermer was just having a really tough time with Christian Smith on this debate. I mean,
Sure.
really tough time.
I wouldn't doubt
Explain to me.
that, but we're not going to bring up
It's-
Michael Shermer.
But yeah, it's pretty simple. I think that human beings have one life. They have about 100 years to live, and that's it. And so giving them as much value and experience in that very brief time they have is extremely valuable. And any minute
See,
that
Cliff,
they have
he's like,
suffering,
all
there's a
right, I'm not
tremendous
going
loss
to
and
win the power
tremendous evil
struggle.
in the
I'll
world.
just go
Nope.
die.
And so because we
Yep.
don't have infinite time periods, every moment we have is infinitely more valuable.
But he's like,
than
I'm
Stuart put
worried
him in
that I need to
timeout.
prepare my
in the
prince
Christian worldview, our life
enough
in
to
this
take my
world is
spot.
pretty meaningless. It's from dust to dust, and we should just not value anything in this world.
Worried
He feels
about-
defeated. That's the look.
Secular humanist
It's the look of a
perspective,
defeated
Our
man.
life
Yeah.
in this world is infinitely more valuable than the Christian worldview.
So your atheist prophets,
And the
Camus
look of
and
Stuart is
We
the
don't
guy
have prophets.
Roy and
Please
Nietzsche,
don't
everyone
project
already
your
would
own
all,
thoughts on
would all
us.
disagree with that.
You know,
All of them
Please-
would disagree with that.
he's
Please-
way behind, but he's like, I'm gonna finish. I'm still in it. I'm still in it. I'm gonna finish it.
Stewart is trolling his ass off. Atheist prophets. And then and if you look at Cliff here, that's that he loves that.
Saunders.
He loves that react.
Good seeing you too. It's been too long though, buddy. That's why you need to get up in here. Get off that Justin bullshit, dude. That shit's poisonous. I hope
Get
you
off
hear
of
me.
Justin's
It
balls.
shit'll fucking poison your brain, bro. It'll poison your brain. It'll melt your face. Come hang out with us, dude, instead. Trust me.
So if you see here, Cliff loves Stewart's trolling. He got a rise out of Aron. You know what I'm saying? He just pulled him right on in. Got Cliff feeling good again.
Please do not project your
No,
own
Stuart,
faults onto us. We don't have prophets. We
All of
don't
them.
have faith. We're
Wrong
not just
with
as
the
bad as
absurdity
you
of
are.
life,
That's
Camus.
not our point, Aron.
Absurdity of life, Camus.
Stuart, if I just said
Tolstoy said all of his meaning in life was stripped once he realized that this life was going to end. There was no meaning because there was no eternal life.
Stuart,
That's
Stuart,
what
if
I said
So
earlier.
that they are completely different from your thinking. Why is that? Like, if I'm going to become an atheist tonight, if I'm going to convert tonight, why not follow them? Why follow you guys?
Gotcha.
Stuart,
All
why
one-
would you-
one
why
sec.
would
I
you
do want to
follow-
hold on. I'll let you go, Tom. I just want to say that let's give Tom and Aron a chance to answer, and then I think it's a pretty good time to go into the Q&A.
Yeah, so Stuart, listing all of those other atheists and their other perspective is like if I list Jonathan Smith and say, well, why aren't you a Mormon? Because clearly he's a representation of Christianity. Like just picking a random guy who wrote a book and labeled it atheism doesn't mean it's an authority on atheism.
No, it'd be like John the Baptist and
You have to
Jesus.
go into
That's how big they are.
Q&A.
No, they're not big at all in
So-
atheism. Like there is no authority on atheism. These are random guys who wrote books, and that's it. Like Jonathan Smith.
Let's give
Yeah,
Aron a
I-
chance.
Mohammed, you
Stuart?
can honestly argue that anything on planet Earth is subjective, even if you claim that it's
This nigga's having a
objective.
fucking. Are you debating a guy right now in the goddamn comments? Bomb it.
No. I'm not debating him at all.
Just kidding.
No, I'm not
just
debating him at all. He just said that when TJump argues for objective morality, he ends up arguing for moral emotivism, which is ultimately subjectivism, which basically goes back to the entire point of everything could honestly be considered subjective. You know, you can argue that anything's subjective.
It's true. All right, so here in the debate, this is the beginning of the quick Q&A. We're just going to run through a few of the questions and whatnot, and then let me see how long we've been going here so far. Yeah, 2 hours and 2.5 hours so far. Let's see. Well, we'll take a look at some of the questions and shit. This is actually arguably the longest portion of. All right, my fault. No, it's not. It's the shortest portion of the debate. But,
I am frequently accused of being one of these atheist authorities. I assure you, I am not.
exactly, he's not.
And
He's
we
the
will
great
jump
one.
into it with that. Thanks so much, folks. That was a lively one, but a terrific one. That was really, really fun conversation.
I'm still bothered by one thing. I just got to say one more thing.
Oh, stop.
When you
Let
guys
it
think
go,
that
bro.
you have to
Let it
live
go.
forever in order for life to have meaning,
No.
that's morose. It's morbid.
Well, no. I mean, so you disagree with all the existentialists then, because they would say that.
I don't care.
So I'm with
humans
you.
value most that
Subjectivism
which
and
is rare.
objectivism
Still have a
definitely
type of meaning here.
complement
I mean,
each other.
certainly I can help my plant grow over there by watering it. That gives me meaning.
Given and have eternal life. If you're going to call that a non-sacrifice, is in Matthew, Luke, and John.
And wouldn't it be nice to be right about something once in a while?
Everybody interprets.
We must go into the Q&A. So I want to say thanks so much. Very juicy one tonight. And we're starting with Jason Burris.
Wouldn't it be
Appreciate
nice
your
to be
question.
right about
Said,
something once?
I'm an archaeologist. Tell me, one,
Please.
what are the methods?
Sir,
to
I
prove
am
the
talking.
Bible? I find it
Hey,
hard
I
to
love
believe that
that.
faith can be proven through archaeology. And two, what events in the Bible are proven through archaeology?
Read the book of Acts.
All right.
Archaeology. Why don't you answer the question?
All right. Archaeology is not the basis of faith.
Yeah.
Instead,
Get 'em.
archaeology is one of the 4 tests that I use
Go read
on
my
any
book.
document that claims to be historical. Meaning by that, if a document that claims to be historical, talking about the island of Atlantis, that archaeology cannot verify, the evidence is that the document is not historically reliable. But if the document is talking about Bethlehem, Nazareth, Jerusalem, Sea of Galilee, all archaeologically verifiable places, then that is one piece of evidence pointing to the reliability of the document.
It's a
So
piece of
archaeology
evidence,
has
but you
nothing to
don't
do with
have
establishing
archaeological
faith
digs
in
back
God or
everything
faith
up.
in
You don't have
Christ.
archaeological
It has to
proof
do with
just because they
determining
named
the
a place doesn't mean shit.
trustworthiness of an historical document.
All right, 2 things on that. One, when
This is Q&A.
archaeologists discovered the city of Troy, did that make it evidence of the Hellenist gods?
I gotta give these guys the last word.
My
So
whole
go
Aaron,
ahead for
you
Stuart,
missed
and
my
then we
whole
gotta go to the
point,
next question.
Aaron.
You're
That's
explaining my
sad.
point.
You missed my whole point, Aaron.
Yeah, go read Acts.
Okay,
That's
so
sad.
Baptist
we'll,
beer.
we'll go to the next question.
Here's
then.
my whole
Thanks for your
point, Aaron.
Question, or I should say,
Yes,
thanks for
Mom,
Mom.
read the
your
book.
sticker.
Subjectivism cannot
Woody,
exist without
appreciate the support.
subjectivism, and vice
Majestic
versa.
P. Back.
In the
Thank you
same
as
sense,
well
and I'll
for
say
that
it again,
beautiful,
just like love
tremendous
cannot
super
exist
sticker.
without
Language and
obedience.
programming. Thanks for your question. Said, how could a book which admits to people
The yin and the
claiming it
yang.
was a quote cleverly devised myth in 2 Peter 1:16 be considered without suspicion as true?
It's total
It's very
misreading.
simple. Peter writes in 2 Peter, we did not follow cleverly invented stories. Instead, we were eyewitnesses of his power and glory. Just go back and read it for yourself. If you want to find out about Islam, read the Quran. If you want to find out about Hinduism, read the Vedas, Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita. And if you want to find out about Jesus Christ, read the Gospels, read the New Testament.
I will agree on one point.
What the hell? Everybody's gone. I'm the last one. You know why? Because I pay that extra cash for that really good internet that these guys aren't willing to pony up the fucking dough for. Oh my goodness gracious. Muhammad, it's just you and me. Well, to be honest, I think that didn't get a chance to wrap it up in a nice little bow, but I think that we'll say it's good to meet you, Muhammad. I would like to engage with you further at a later date. You seem very knowledgeable, very interesting, and very well read and worded. So, with that being said, I have no idea where Ray went. I have no idea where both of them went. Both their internet sucks. Their internet is the fucking worst, and they're the ones that host this thing. So maybe we'll have to make some changes, and I'll have to host.
There I go. I'm back.
Oh, he's back.
Oh my god. I'm
Oh
sorry.
What the
Yo,
fuck?
dude, give us
Were
some
you guys
warning.
making
Like,
out or something, and then you decided
us
to talk
a-
at the same time? What happened?
I accidentally backed out and messaging Taylor like, yo, where the fuck is you at, bro? Like, what the fuck is you doing?
Did you nod off or what? His sound's off. What were you doing? Were you masturbating? What happened?
I had a
Mute it.
off for Ray. What happened? What I missed?
The whole fucking shebang,
What
man.
are you talking about?
You guys like
Yeah,
the
man,
whole
I-
debate without me?
Yeah, and I'm not rewinding back diddly donk, dog. Yo, next time you gonna go take a smash like that, yo, fucking give us a heads up. Hey, I'm gonna go take a shit. I'm gonna go drop a deuce. I'm gonna go pinch one off. You know?
Why is it calling me?
Oh, hey, no problem. No
I
problem.
say there's no.
I was wondering what was going on. It's like, yo, you taking forever to come back, bro. But I was like, all right, let me see where you at. I hope you all right.
I
Shit.
think that there's no point bringing back up that footage. We're at 2 hours and 30 minutes. But what
Yeah,
I do
yeah.
say is I'll start with my reviews on how everybody did, and then if you guys want to follow it up, and then Taylor, if you want to wrap it up and put a nice, beautiful bow on top, that'd be cool. I think that Cliff and Stewart, there was a power struggle going on between them, and I don't think that they're a good duo. I think they'd probably be best by themselves. I think it's a point that they need to fucking stop following each other's balls and separate, because it's not going to work that way. It's too obvious that there's a power struggle, so they can't get any points across. Cliff, for as old as he is, he sure gets really fucking heated and very juvenile, very, very quick, and he falls into Ra's traps, which is not a good look for a pastor. So as far as TJump, I wish that he would have interjected a little bit more often to kind of cool off Ra. I liked everything that he had to say. His delivery was a little robotic, if you will, but all of his points were really, really well-founded and very good. Ra was dope as hell. I like his personality. He's a lot like me, and he gets too emotional, and he needs to pull it back in a little bit. So, and then the moderator, he was not even a fucking moderator, dude. He's terrible. I don't know who that guy is. I don't think he did a very good job. And you could also tell that he was playing favorites with certain people on time allotted and certain questions. And he would fangirl for Ra a little bit too often sometimes. So I think that you have to keep objective when you're doing debates and you're a moderator, and you can't fall into that trap. So that's my review. I thought it was a good debate. I would have rather have seen them just fight each other in a fucking ring. I think that would have been even more awesome. But it was dope.
Thank you, Battle Kitty 2.0. And so at
I'm gonna send him here. We'll send
Am
him.
I going to say something like the feminist thing?
I'm gonna send him the
I'm
gonna send him this.
I can stick my finger in the butthole at the same time where I lick the nipple, because that's taking care of the woman, and that's the best thing. So that's all.
Oh my god!
I come out. I came out of my little hole today to tell you at this one thing.
I shouldn't have made too much fun of him. Poor guy.
Yeah, really mad alone. Y'all going to hell.
He'll be back. He'll be back. Everybody. He just needs to. He needs to think about what he did with that fire poker.
Well, he needs the poker surgically removed, and until then, he's gonna be in the administrative duties, administrative leave.
That's all right. He can sit in a corner for a couple seconds. That's all right. Oh, Muhammad missed what happened to Matthew.
Yeah, the fire poker incident.
It was a fire poker incident. He's on administrative leave. I am filling in for Matthew until further notice, and Matthew will be back, but he needs to think about what he did. So that's
fire poker.
That will be. What did you think? What did you think, Ray Bay? What do you think about the people, each one?
All right, so yeah. All right, my review. All right, so I'm going to sound completely biased. The moderator was great. Moderator's great. Did a good job. Yeah, he was sucking on Ra's teeth a little too much. It was just like, oh, we gotta let Aron's talk. But you know what? Aron Ra is the great one. Okay, and I'm gonna continue talking this man the fuck on up, as humble as he may be. I'm gonna continue talking him the fuck on up. He worked in a call center. I work in a call center. I respect people who work in a call center far more than I respect people who work in a warehouse and shit. So I'm like, you know what? I know what this man has gone through. I've been there. I totally understand. Yeah, the man's always fucking right. You know what I'm saying? Don't fucking argue with Aron Ra, whether you're a Christian, Muslim, Jew, atheist, or Hindu or Buddhist. TJump,
I'll tell you
wonderful.
why you're wrong, Ray Bay.
Excuse me, I am speaking.
Sorry,
I am
man.
speaking. That's how he was. He turned into a Karen real quick on that part. He's like, excuse me, I'm speaking. God, fuck. Damn it. Son of a. Yo, that shit was hilarious. If I could read minds, that's probably what he was saying too. God damn it. It's fucking Christians. But the father and son duo, they were all right. They were all right. I can't complain. You know, like they were very respectful. I've seen some Christian debaters, they get real indignant. But these guys, the dad was definitely way too fucking confident for his own fucking good. The son, he stayed in his place. Stewart stayed in his fucking place. Knew what the fuck he was supposed, when to speak up, when not to speak up. When he seen his dad was getting a little uptight or falling back, he was like, all right, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna step in, I'm gonna say something, I'm gonna do a little troll, and hey, I'm gonna touch this bone real quick, Dad. Hey, Aron Ra, atheist prophets, and got right under Aron's skin. Was just like, and Aron was like, hey, you little shit. We don't have any fucking prophets up in here, you little shit. I've been doing this since you were in fucking diapers, so you better knock it the fuck off, young man. That's how he was. But he got right up in his skin and shit. I like that. I gotta give Stewart props on that. But when it comes down to it, on who won this debate, definitely the atheists. The Christians, they didn't really put they didn't put.
I do wish that there was some very strong Christian argument points. I've seen some real strong, Christians that can really, really argue some really good points, and I think that they didn't really try to stay on topic of proving Christianity right. I think that they kept going down these rabbit holes that Ra would set up for them, and then they would fall down the rabbit holes, and they were trying to really, really kind of get out. They weren't really addressing what the entire topic was.
Yeah. Cliff did answer questions, though. I'll give him that. He did answer questions.
Said Aron Ra is a Karen version of militant atheist. Don't know if I've seen some militant atheists. I've been excommunicated from atheism, and I don't even know if you can actually fucking do that. I can introduce you, Muhammad, to some fucking militant atheists. Now, there was some flashes of Karen in Ra, but I can promise you that I don't think that he was quite to that. Only because I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. There are some militant atheists, and I do not fucking like them, and they do not like me at all. That's why I've been banned off of all platforms, all group chats, everything. This is my last spot that I've landed. This is the only place where people, aside from my personal Facebook and Instagram, can hear my views on the world. That's it. There's no place left for me. All the groups run by atheists, Christians, and Muslims have completely kicked me out. So this is my last stop.
They're missing out.
Yeah.
They're truly missing out.
Wah,
wah. Fucking assholes.
Yeah, it is what it is.
So, go ahead, take potato.
Yeah.
Christians won.
Well, actually, I observed something very unique happening when.
Schizophrenia. You don't know anything about that. I know. Like, yeah. I know. Hashtag me too.
I do not attend it, but I do what I think I do, but I do it. I know. You have to understand the emotions behind it. I know. Like, you know what they mean? Like, I know what they mean because I say what they mean, but I know what they mean because I say what they mean. I know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I am a very sexy kid.